In the history of Ventura County football, we have seen so many things. Incredible rivalries, future NFL stars, and as of the last time we were on the field, a state champion. One thing we have not seen ever or for a very, very long time, competitive games in the spring. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Larrabee Stadium and welcome to March Madness High School Football Edition. This is the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week, presented by the Ventura County Star, Danny Page and Joe Curley. Joe, it's been a few years since we sat in these seats together. The more things have changed in this world, the more they have stayed the same, I suppose, because it's Friday night and it's time for high school football at Larrabee Stadium.
Well, I just, before we get any further, I just want to welcome back the original to this broadcast.
Here we are. Do we have 6 feet?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
good. Here we are. It's a pleasure to be back, Joe.
I mean,
you know,
we thrived without you.
Totally.
We'll never be too big for you.
and me neither. Okay.
I mean, this is a rare treat. It's one night only.
One night only.
Daniel's very busy these days. Very important man.
And I'll be back in Europe next week anyway.
But when he's home,
I'm in.
He's with us.
I'm in. We'll need some negotiations for fall in the future. But you know, as we look at this game tonight and the games around the county, this season, this mini season, it's all about the kids, Joe, as you would say. It is quite an opportunity for seniors who might not get a real graduation and might not have a real prom to be on the football field, even with fans here. It's a small amount of fans allowed in the stadium. But we start with a league game between two league rivals, and there are no section playoffs. The playoffs start tonight, and the season starts tonight between Ventura and Rio Mesa.
Yeah, this is this was I don't want to call it a treat, but certainly every single member of both these teams, they stuck with their team through the entire pandemic. They were originally told they were going to play earlier in the year, and it kept pushing. They started practice, they stopped practice, they started practice again. Many of their teammates didn't make it this far. Many of their teammates had to stop playing football to work to support their families. You know, many of their teammates, like the quarterback for Rio Mesa, you know, we're playing every sport at the same time. So they're you know, there's other sports that are more important to some of the kids. So what would normally be 80, 90, 100-man rosters are 40 and 50, and so you know that's where both these programs stick. But as somebody, I covered the Oaks Christian game last week. Los Angeles County started a week ahead of Ventura County, and one thing you could tell is that the kids who had weathered that storm and had stayed with the team, they're all playing. They're playing both ways.
Right.
They're in it. There's no, you know, the depth has been whittled, but all those kids are part of the team and are contributing. And so, you know, it's slightly skewed from what we've seen. Obviously, normally at Larrabee Stadium, we'd be full with fans right now. Now,
yeah,
it's
of course,
just
season opener, and it's about 100 people on each side.
It really is going to be a half season unlike any other. But you know, certainly every one of these kids who's still playing will take it over the alternative, which is, you know, more Zoom calls and no games and a lack of a senior season, which is, you know, just you know, certainly nobody wants. So it may be overcast, it may be cold.
It is cold, man.
It may not be as, you know, the picturesque scene of the Channel Islands that we're used to at Larrabee Stadium. But it is a beautiful night in Ventura because we have high school football. We may not have tri-tip sandwiches. We may not have, you know, a full stands. Not everybody, you know, may be able to get in the stadium, but you can all watch us at home. That is why we are here, trying to bring this home to you. So just you know, enjoy your nice warm living room, because it is not warm.
It feels like a playoff game in November. I'll tell you this, how it feels right now is you have a moment where you look on the field and you see the Ventura logo, you see the players about to come out. You look and you see, if I'm not mistaken, it's former CIF champion coach the likely vaccinated Phil McCune on the track. And you're like, oh, there's Felix or Cortez taking photos. You're like, oh, okay, this is a normal season. And then you look in the stands and everyone's wearing a mask, and there's no smell of tri-tip, and it is a very, very different season, to say the least.
In the pandemic, we appreciate what we've had. We appreciate, going through this experience. We're going to be more appreciative of what we have and what we have to go without right now. So that's one of my big things is going and covering games without fans. You realize how big a deal, how big a part of everything fans are.
Of course.
It's not the same, but it is football. It is a senior season, so like we said over and over again, these kids will take it. These two teams have been kind of vying at the second kind of tier, second division of this league the last couple of years. We've had a great season out of Pacifica last year in the state championship. Oxnard and Pacifica the previous year, going to CIF championship games. Actually, Rio Mesa the previous year with Austin Maciel at quarterback.
Right.
Having basically the same type of year that Oxnard and Pacifica have had the last couple of years, so they know what it's like to make a long run. And Ventura, a recent postseason team too, and in this short season, with as we detailed in our preview in the paper today, there is no real favorite.
At this time,
it is a wide open league. I haven't done this in a while, maybe you have, but the national anthem at a sporting event. We will break and listen into the anthem. Thank you, sir. This is nice to be back at a football game. Danny Page and Joe Curley here with you on Kickoff Friday, a 5 or 6 game season, depending on your league, depending on where you play, and the Ventura County Star will bring you the Ventura Ortho game of the week, I think every week, right?
Yep,
that's
every
the plan.
Week. Starting now.
And Ventura Orthopedics has been a really important partner for the Star for many years now, and we certainly appreciate their sponsorship, involvement, contribution, and also just being a real pillar in the community. With 6 convenient locations throughout Ventura County, the experts at Ventura Orthopedics are ready to serve your bone, joint, and muscle needs, and seeing an orthopedic specialist is even easier with Urgent Ortho. Now offering Saturday hours in Ventura, just walk or limp in for immediate orthopedic care. For any questions or to make an appointment, call 800-698-1290. That's 800-698-1280. Or just go to their website, VenturaOrtho.com. That's VenturaOrtho.com. They've been, great supporters in the community for a very long time. The referees tonight, Joe Giaraputo is the head referee, Renee Tovar, the linesman, the line judge, Justin Schmidt. Jeff Sill is the umpire, and Stephen Garcia is the back judge. With the coin toss now complete, that is, one of the various changes we'll see that might seem a little odd to those watching, is that there's only one captain going to the center of the field for the coin toss, Cade Ledesma for the Cougars, and as the Rio Mesa Spartans take the field and the Ventura Cougars prepare to Months of frustration and angst and raw emotion as these teams get to take the field. I remember when I was a high school student, the amount of patience these kids have probably shown is really on another level. Having to wait 8 months for this evening's kickoff.
Yeah, this generation gets beaten up by other generations, but they have been really impressive these past 16 months.
Yeah, they have. Every generation gets beaten up by the older generation. Of course, it's part of humanity.
The progress
in the modern.
of the seasons.
Yeah.
So how's Ventura High look these days? Has it changed? What did you see with your eyes coming up today?
It is literally exactly the same. Felix has a bigger camera, I think, you know? I can also tell you this, that the numbers are a lot easier to see, so a shout out to, remember those white on white uniforms?
We complained so much they couldn't do it anymore.
Oh my gosh. We had so many good games over the years. I will never forget that buzzer beater, zeros on the clock touchdown here in 2015. Zach Sauerwein against Buena. That was one of our all-time favorite games. And maybe this one will go down as the Rio Mesa Spartans kick away. And football is back after 16 long months, Mr. Curley. And I think one of the things that we'll talk about throughout the broadcast tonight is an understanding. We'd like to get an understanding from you and what you and the Lock, Lauren Ledeen, have put together in your reporting. The emotion surrounding so many of the stories in the county, but as the Cougars take the field, what did Coach Garcia have to share with you? Remember, he was one of the very outspoken coaches that said, we just want to get on the field, which I get it, he's a football coach.
Which they're just doing. I mean, this was a moment that Coach Garcia worked for quite a long time, that whole let them play movement.
Handoff goes to the left side for about a 3-yard gain. Jordan Tanner at the quarterback position. I will say this, Joe. We will see more quarterbacks tonight than we have probably ever seen in a high school football game. I mean, we'll see at least 2 on each side more than likely.
That's week 1 for you.
Well, that's spring football, too.
Good call. Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is preparation for next season and really a chance for the seniors to show what they got.
Yeah, you've got really 2 competing kind of motivations. You've got preparing for next season, but you also have letting these seniors have their moment, and that's what these 2 coaches are juggling, throughout these 5 games.
And I think when you and I started doing games in the county, of course, you've been with the paper for 20 years now, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Quite a long time.
When I first started doing games in the county 15 years ago, I mean, you were talking about teams that had 1 quarterback and ran out of the I formation, and now we've seen a true evolution to spread offenses where multi-threat quarterbacks are the norm. Long throw down the left side, and it's caught. Early momentum for Ventura as the Cougars cross midfield. It is Tyler Woodworth on the catch. Nice throw from Jordan Tanner, who's really to be seen as a dual threat athlete at the quarterback position, and that was a nice toss.
That was baseball player to baseball. That's
right.
Like 2/3 of the Ventura High baseball team pitching staff right there.
Baseball team was playing before. Did they play?
I don't. We'll have to check. But I mean, we walk in and it's you're not used to it. You walk in, you pass the baseball field and they're playing.
Right. Give inside to Eric Maxwell, who Maxwell will see the majority of the time at the tailback position. But I mean, we're 100 seconds in here, and the Cougars are driving. Normally, first game of the season is week 0, week 1, whatever it may be. We've had about 3 false starts, a couple delay of games, an offside and a holding.
We'll give it some time. Last week, Oaks Christian, they had a real nice, clean first half, and then the second half was a disaster.
Play fake, inside screen, and I spoke too soon. Cade Ledesma had some room to run. And
well, it's a cool night out there. It's going to hurt the hands to catch the ball, but and again, these are kids that haven't played in a real game in 16 months, so they're getting used to it. But yeah, there are going to be those moments, and it's going to be the team that is able to kind of minimize
those mistakes. Yeah,
it's going to get off to a 1-0 start.
3rd down and 6, 2 minutes into this game. Tanner's going to go deep again. He's got Ledesma, who reaches up for it at the 6, but an outstanding defensive play to literally rip the ball away. Henry Borjas, who's just a sophomore. And the Cougars will punt. You know, one point I thought about making, Joe, was I do wonder, with this just being a short spring season, are teams going to take more chances? You know, are they going to be more aggressive going for it on 4th down more? You think it might be a different kind of season in that way, or at least I do.
And are you going to see more fakes?
Back deep for Spartans, number 21.
Let's see if we get a commentator's curse here.
No, they'll punt it away. It's a decent kick. It'll bounce
the wind.
Right into the wind. You're right. And at the 20-yard line is where Rio Mesa will start. The coaches are 2 of the more tenured coaches in Ventura County, are they not? And Tim Garcia and Mr. Vintner.
We're going to have to do the math. We were trying to figure out if either of them was the most tenured.
I think it's Gary Porter.
Yeah, we were thinking it's Gary Porter of the Channel Islands. If you want to reply and give your guess to who's the longest tenured head coach in Ventura County, it's not so much a trivia question because we have to look up the answer, but we'll get there.
Gone are the days of Cliff Farrar. He was around for like 35 years, you know.
And the great George Hurley.
Of course. A 4-yard gain on 1st down for Rio Mesa. That is, you know, one of the things we'll see, Aiden Marin, one of the things we'll see a lot throughout this game and throughout this season are underclassmen, and not just juniors, but freshmen, sophomores, and even freshmen getting on the field for a lot of teams, because after all, this is spring football. They're playing varsity next year.
Yeah, you made a good point when we were talking. Oh, wow.
Rolling out, throwing right, and the pass is caught.
He didn't
right
look
up
like,
in midfield.
Didn't look like he was the intended receiver, but he was in the route.
Now that catch is made by Jonathan Borjas. He's a senior who will play quarterback, wide receiver, defensive back, punter. Maybe he'll make tri-tip after the game, something like that. But they did call the name of his brother, number 18, Henry Borjas, who's a sophomore, who we'll see as well, of course.
That was the player I was told was going to start at quarterback for Rio.
Sweeping to the left-hand side is Mario Xavier Jones. He's a junior, and he picks up 8 yards. Starting at quarterback.
It looks like Henry Borjas.
Yeah, it is. It is the younger Borjas.
Flipped the Borjases?
See, it was my understanding too, Joe.
Did I get okey-doked in the preview?
That the senior, yeah, exactly. That the senior Borjas would be the quarterback, and that's what it says on the roster as well. Instead, it's the younger. He sprints right and throws a long out route. It is caught. 1st down, Rio. I mean, we're about 3 minutes in here.
Yeah, they look good.
Both teams have gotten to the other side of the 40, and we haven't had a single penalty yet. What's going on here?
These 2 teams have been preparing for a really long time, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, what the heck? I mean, my story's basically written. Now we just have to ask Bittner what was the deal at quarterback, what they were doing.
Interesting. And that is in and out of the hands of the older Borjas, Jonathan.
Yeah, I wrote a feature on Johnny. Oh, it's Johnny and Henry, actually. With part of a feature I wrote on multi-sport athletes in the fall, looking ahead to a spring where everything was going to be happening simultaneously in a bigger window. Everything's been shrunk by the pandemic, which is making everything a lot more crazy.
And a second really nice carry up the middle from Mario Xavier Jones. And he picks up about 7 yards, going to bring up 3rd down and
hand off to Jones up the middle.
3 or 4. Well, it looks like 4.
Brings up 2nd and 5.
I think it's 3rd down, guys.
Yeah, I had what you had on my sheet too.
Incomplete.
Hey, it's the first day for the chains too.
Yeah,
there we
go. There we go. So 2 wide to the right for the Spartans. And inside give and easily picking up the 1st down is Isaac Richardson. You know, one of the stories too, Joe, is not who's here, but who is not here. And it is a baseball star on the Rio Mesa team, Dominic Axiola, who is set to certainly be one of the leaders of this Rio Mesa football team as well.
Yeah, and other times he would have been their starting quarterback, but he chose baseball, as many do, and he's focusing on his sport. And that leaves the position open for all kinds of players on their roster, apparently. There's your first whistle.
Yep. It took 4.5 minutes. It was just a timeout. Well, here we are on the first night of football since 2018, and I wonder, in this league, which was supposed to take a different shape, of course, this season, and they elected not to make those changes. Everyone experienced that absolutely dominant Pacifica team a couple seasons ago. One season ago, right?
Yeah,
what feels like a couple
years
years ago, in literally 2019, and here we are in 21. But that team just doesn't exist in the league right now, right? There's not a team that is far and away the best team within this league.
Yeah, we're not quite sure. Nobody that looks that way in preseason.
Right.
Oxnard has a really solid roster, but they're lacking. They lost Jalen Jones, so they're trying to find their quarterback. This Rio team looks pretty solid right here. See if they can finish this drive.
Setting up a screen pass, really not going anywhere, just picks up a couple of yards. Now, full disclosure here, Joe. I might have to ask about happenings over the last couple of years.
You've been busy.
Well,
You've been away from home.
I spend a lot of the year on the other side of the world, so that has something to do with it. And the high school football game of the week, Joe, starts at 4 in the morning local time. So if I haven't been watching the stream,
Iberian,
if I haven't been watching the stream, don't.
Even though I send you the links,
you
in
do.
the middle of the night,
You do.
wake you up.
Yeah, you do. But one of the questions I was going to ask is Jalen Jones, the Oxnard quarterback, where did he go?
He transferred to Westlake and then did not stay there. I was told he graduated, and so he's done.
Right.
But I was also told he's in Ontario, so he might end up
Playing for Norco.
playing somewhere. But he is, for our, for our purposes, he's not on any of these teams.
He's not around.
Leaving Oxnard without a quarterback.
Yeah.
But Pacifica only returned one starter from their state championship team, so they did have a bunch of transfers come in, as you do sometimes when you win a state championship. So they do have talent. Buena seems really solid. Here's a 4th down. Actually, we should focus on this.
4th down and 6. Borjas pressured, throws deep for the corner. Incomplete.
Flag? No flag.
I think you could have seen a flag there, but they'll just call it good coverage. The ball was a little bit underthrown, and the Rio Mesa Spartans turn it over on downs. So nearly halfway through the first quarter, and it's 0-0, albeit an eventful 0-0.
Yeah, I've liked what I've seen out of both teams. Both teams move the ball. Both teams show a little bit of explicit. I want to mention we saw Isaac Richardson, the junior running back, get 1 carry on that drive.
Yep.
Important moment for him. Last time I covered him at Buena last year, suffered a bad leg injury, and here he is back. So congratulations on his road to recovery and back here as a junior.
Tanner throws that to the left side for Maxwell. Makes a couple men miss, and he has a 1st down on 1st down. When you look at Oxnard, I mean, the cupboard isn't exactly bare, right? Jaime Moreno, the new head coach of the Yellow Jackets. John Mack is, of course, not the new head coach in his 2nd season, but John Mack now at Wainimi, and they are stacked at the linebacker spot. Titus Hutchinson, Anthony Lopez, Grant Ennis. The Yellow Jackets have a lot to prove, too, after watching their crosstown rivals win a state title.
Right. Like we said, very similar to 2000 when Buena beat Ventura and then had to watch Ventura go on and win the CIF title. Those kind of parallels to those of us that have been around for 20 years.
Right.
Were striking last year.
Right.
Justin Lang.
2 great teams. Oxnard, 2 really nice runs in the playoffs the last couple of years. So been every bit as good as Pacifica.
Tanner probably is just going to have to throw it away. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and long.
Tanner's pass incomplete. Intended for number 9.
Tanner looks comfortable at the quarterback position. I think that you know, for any of these players, it'll be a little bit of a shock to the system, just being out under the lights again. Really.
Yeah, I mean, you would think like those first series, you know, there's some endorphins, right, carrying you through, and then, you know, we'll see how tired they get in the second half. You know, they're certainly probably not in fit, you know, game shape, because they haven't played in that long.
Tanner sprints left, throws across his body, but it's another really nice throw. That's complete to Tyler Woodworth. It's the second time that he's found the junior on the far side of the field, and it's first down for the Cougars right near midfield.
Yeah, I wrote that feature on the multi-sport athletes last year. Ooh, we had a little bit of a power situation. And the Borjas brothers we talked to in that story, and the kid who just made the catch for Ventura, Woodworth.
Certainly both teams, despite operating predominantly out of the shotgun, they will be committed to the run tonight, one would think, given the, you know, foundation of running the football that both coaches have long believed in.
And they're both strong up front. I mean, Jim Bittner said he loved he gave me all 5 offensive linemen. He said no real weaknesses on that offensive line. They like their defensive front. You look at them, they look stout. Trick play.
Reverse for the Cougars. Running to the right side is Woodworth, and that is going nowhere, ladies and gentlemen. Tackle on the play by Sal Maria. He is a sophomore, and he saw that one all the way.
I wonder if he's related to RJ. Pacifica High.
Yep.
Quarterback last year.
Yep. Fakes the screen. Evading pressure for a moment, just throws it up and it's caught. About a half-yard short of the first down is Woodworth. Woodworth is clearly going to be Jordan Tanner's favorite target, and the Cougars are going to punt. I'm surprised.
Well, hold the phone here if it's only a yard.
Brings up 4th down for the Cougars.
Long, maybe a yard.
It's a long yard. It's a yard and a third. Joe, roll the dice. You know?
So here you are saying we only got 5 games. Why punt?
Punt twice?
And you're punting into the wind too. I would be. Yeah, this is prime fake territory here for the Cougars.
You know, punting again.
Punt into the wind again.
Look at it. It just stops there.
Oh, it got a good bounce.
Good bounce for the Cougars.
All right, inside the 20.
And it is downed by Noah McGee, the linebacker, at the 16-yard. Why would you play conservative football? It's March, okay? What is that about?
I mean, you know what they say about football in March.
What?
Apparently, be aggressive, I guess.
Right. I'll tell you what. Just for the novelty, I'm gonna have the March Madness basketball games on my phone going right now, just because, like, we can say we did it. You know.
Well, that was. I was just at Wainimi Camarillo, and they're giving the scores of the baseball game during it. And I'm like,
you mean of the basketball game?
Yeah, that too. They could have.
Oh, you're saying of the high school baseball game?
I was at Camarillo, Wainimi, where John Mack coaching his first game for Wainimi, while across the field, Dimitri Young is coaching his first baseball game as the head coach at Camarillo High.
Dimitri Young is the head coach at Camarillo, huh?
See what happens when you miss when you're in Barcelona? See what you miss?
You know what else? We'll get to this one in a second. We have another trivia question tonight. We'll get to it in between the quarters here. Borjas, a dangerous throw, but again, both quarterbacks look relatively sharp tonight.
Especially considering we didn't know this Borjas could play quarterback.
Right.
Although I will say that Jimmy's dad, I covered Jim Bittner's dad as Moore Park College coach, and he always used the first game as a preseason game. Moore Park College famously had these incredible football teams in the 80s and 90s and never went 10-0 because they always lost the first game because he threw it away like a preseason game to figure out who his starters were.
2:35 to go, 3rd down and 2, and what a stop from the swarming Cougar defense. Giacomo Sherman just absolutely blew up that play, and Rio Mesa is going to need to punt. 2:20 to go. Normally in the past we've had a clock in the bottom right corner, for example.
Are you going to do that to Anthony?
Yeah, well, it's
like
March, you know. But I'll need to remind you all of the time remaining.
What is the time, Danny? Can you read it?
It's 2:10. Okay. Like the freeway, Joe.
Oh, don't remind me.
Yeah.
Not a fan of the
traffic's gonna be a thing again.
Spent plenty of time on the 210 in traffic. Just recently too.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice punt from Rio Mesa. Fair catch is called for by the Cougars, and they'll start from the 35. So the two teams going back and forth in the first 10 minutes here. Advantage one way or another, Joe?
Well, I mean, it's kind of, I feel like we should have deja vu here, because you've got this great punt by the Ventura kid to get it in, you know, to flip the field a little bit, and then the Rio Mesa punt kind of put them back to where they started. So that we basically had a little bit of a stalemate here through 10 minutes, and we'll see.
Joe, great punts are just not something you see a lot in high school games.
And I saw some great punting last week with the Oaks Christian, their kicker, 70-yard punt.
And now space along the left side for Maxwell. He's down inside the 30-yard line, and the Cougars were looking for a big play to kick this drive into gear and get on the board, and they've got one. A 36-yard run, and Ventura's in business.
In business. Yeah, here we are talking about 70-yard punts, and we're seeing some offense.
Still haven't seen a penalty, Joe. 90 seconds left.
Thanks. Cade Ledesma's back at quarterback for Ventura High. This is something we saw a lot last year.
And Ledesma carries that down to the 22-yard line.
Brought down by number 21, Bolas.
He's second down and 4.
Second and 4.
And it will be Ledesma and Maxwell in the backfield. And Ledesma shakes off a couple of tacklers and has a first down. Joe, I want you to, and everybody at home watching, I want you to keep an eye on the Cougars wide receiver to the near side, number 9, Jacoby Cardino. Maybe it's Cardellino. It's double L, but you know, I think I'm using my Spanish, my Castilian. You know, he is a tall target on that side, and I just see them trying to hit him at some point because he is all on his own in one-on-one coverage.
Tanner back in coverage, or Tanner back at quarterback.
Gives to Maxwell again, and Maxwell picks up about 2 yards. There's that commitment to the run on first down.
So you're going to see this is what you're going to see out of the Ventura offense this year is, you know, Tanner as the typical quarterback, and then when to mix stuff up, they can, you know, put Ledesma in there as like a change pace, running quarterback sort of thing. It's a lot of the stuff that we saw last year out of him. But now you've got this 6'6" quarterback that can heave the ball down to his baseball teammate as well.
7 seconds left. Let's see if the Cougars decide to run a play. And they come set and they do run a play. A quick throw. And it's off the hands of Curran Walker. He just didn't see the ball coming. And it'll bring up 3rd and long. And that's sort of been the story of the night for the Cougars. They get a big play. They start threatening a little bit. And then next thing you know, a 3rd and long. And that's where we are. We'll take a quick break here on the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week. 0-0 after 1.
Keep a safe distance. Thank you.
First quarter of the prep football season, at least as far as these two teams are concerned, in the books, and a big 3rd down for the Cougars as they look to strike first. Jordan Tanner In the shotgun. He'll look to the right side. Had the slot receiver open. Now throws for the back of the end zone, and it's just way too far. So it's a 4th down and 8, and the Cougars punting twice, and they'll kick this time.
4th down.
Trying to see who's kicking it. Looks like they're setting up at the 20, so a 30-yard field goal.
Camilo Aviles in for the field goal try.
Yep, it's the senior, number 13, Camilo Aviles. Really kick pretty much straight on. If anything, a little wind at the back.
Oh. And
it's not a good hold, and the kick is wide to the left. The holder just wasn't able to get a hold of the ball, and we stay at 0-0, 11 seconds into the second quarter.
Something we've seen a little bit is just receiving the ball tougher when it's cold and windy like this. Disappointing end to a really nice drive by the Cougars, and now we're starting to feel a little repetitive here. Both teams moving the ball between the 20s and coming up short in the red zone.
Both punting well, too, Joe.
That's what you want to see. The punter's the one guy you hope he's bored all day.
I really have to say, as this pass is thrown to the right side and it's incomplete. No, will they say that was a catch?
Will we give it to him?
One last pass, incomplete.
Oh.
No, I believe that's going to be called a catch.
Intended for number 7, Tilly.
No, it was incomplete.
The lines crew has no idea what to... So one guy marked it, the linesman marked it down, and then he got overruled, it looked like. All right, incomplete.
We'll call that incomplete. You know, that was always one of our long-running jokes, right? Well, it's week 0. You know,
yeah.
So
now no week 0.
Something would be wrong with our audio, or there were 34 penalties in the half, or you know, the snack bar ran out of barbecue sauce, and it was just week 0. You know.
And there is no week 0 this year. This is week 1.
This is week 1. This is week 1. It's Borjas pass again incomplete. They're really trying to work the right side of the field, and just like that, it is 3rd and 10 for Rio Mesa. I mean, the Cougars, after that missed field goal, especially with the way they move the ball, they would love a 3-and-out here with Rio Mesa punting into the wind.
Yeah, Rio not able. If they're not able to flip this field, then Ventura will have a short field again, depending on the punt. Although. Yeah, and they'll be punting with the wind in their face, like Ventura did last period.
So it's 3rd down and 10, 11:36 remaining in this second quarter. Rolling right again, and that's intercepted. It is thrown right to the Cougars, and Ventura will start right around the site of that missed field goal. Simon Brown, the senior. And it's moments like that for a senior that he will always remember. And hopefully for Ian the Cougars, that turnover puts Ventura on the board first. They're in a great starting field position and would be very disappointed with anything but points, Joe.
Yeah, he just missed, Borjas just missed. His brother went from one zone to the other, and he was open for a second, but then the ball just came late. And Simon was able to capitalize. And let's see if Ventura can capitalize on the first turnover.
Rio Mesa takes a timeout. And Joe, for me, this is the first sporting event, and probably for a lot of the people here, right, who, this city, this county, people love sports. Sports are such a fabric of this region. And maybe even those that don't follow team sports as much are into surfing and hiking and whatever may be, right? This is a region of very active people. And many people who are used to attending sporting events, especially at the high school level, every week or two. This might be the first sporting event they've been at since February or early March of last year. It is for me.
Well, I'm a sports reporter, and I can only think of 2 events I've covered.
And they were Rams games, right?
One was a Rams game, one was a golf tournament.
Wow.
But,
wow.
Yeah, it has been... it's been different for sure. Ooh, pump
fake now, thrown over the middle. That's caught. Touchdown, Cougars. No, it's dropped. Oh, at the last moment. It's week 0.
It's week 0 plus 1.
I know, it's week 0 plus 1. Exactly. Whew. Oh, this is a
again,
really,
with the, I
really nice move by Jordan Tanner.
It's now a trend, where you've got, there's drops because they haven't, they're not out there practicing as long as they would have normally, and certainly it's cooler and tougher to catch in these conditions.
And now an inside run for Maxwell, and he'll get the Cougars about halfway there, setting up a 3rd and 5.
And I think you were kind of prescient talking about how, maybe both these teams are going to want to stick to the run. I think they're probably forcing themselves to do so now, but I think now both teams might see them run a little bit more than we've seen the first quarter.
And listen, let's see how this transpires. But we've seen some, for the most part, pretty clean football. Tanner completes that, and right at the sticks making the catch is Adrian Gonzalez. I think he's going to be a little short. And we do have an injury on the field. It was Gonzalez. He was tackled a little bit low, and he's clearly in pain.
Cut. So would that bring up 4th?
Yeah, it's going to bring up 4th and about half a yard, as this will be a timeout. And we've said this a lot already. I just can't tell you how weird it is being here. It's just strange.
Everything's just weird.
It's just weird.
It's better
really
than
weird.
What it's been. It's better to have you here than not. And,
of course.
Better to be here at Larrabee than on my couch
At this time, I'd like to remind you,
watching
this game is being
HBO Go.
live stream on VC
Max, whatever it is now.
Right. No, exactly.
Yeah, HBO Go doesn't exist anymore.
Really for these kids, and my family's been involved in education in the county for a long time. My sister's a teacher at Foothill, and listen, there's a lot of sad stories of the pandemic. There's a lot that has changed, but just in this environment, it was a very hard year last year for high school seniors, and this is not discounting the fact that many have lost loved ones and many have lost livelihoods and jobs.
It's been hard for everybody,
but just looking in the context of this game, okay? For the kids last year to lose their senior prom and their graduation is very difficult.
Right.
And for this group of seniors to likely lose those activities and to also not be able to play football is, it's very difficult for them. So just to be out here is a pretty special moment. And Adrian Gonzalez, a senior, we certainly hope he's okay, especially after making a nice play like that. And he is being helped off the field, but he's even putting a little pressure on the leg, and he was.
We'll see how he goes. The very similar thing happened last week at Oaks Christian, where an Oaks Christian linebacker made a sack, and then on the next play he got cut similarly, and was helped off with an ankle injury. So hopefully, the issue is with such a short window to play, any little injury, any little positive COVID test, any little thing can kind of put it all in jeopardy. So you hope he's able to bounce back. And certainly with the you've got half the schedule that you normally have, but you also have half the players. They've only got 50 some odd players to work with, so every injury is compounds the effect on the roster.
Here's the 4th and 1. It's a keeper. Jordan Tanner takes it into the end zone.
That was Ledesma. That was Cade Ledesma out of that package again.
Outstanding. A 12-yard touchdown run. Thanks for helping me out there, Joe. Cade Ledesma with the score, and it is 6-0 Cougars.
Finally, Ventura finish off one of these great drives. It was always coming. If Rio wasn't able to flip the field, they were gonna, Ventura was gonna find the end zone at some point, and there it is.
At the end of the day, Joe, Ventura has moved the ball really, really well.
Do we get a? All right.
And the kick is up and good. Good for the Cougars to sort out any issues with the hold there. 10:34 to go in this opener on the Ventura Ortho Game of the Week, presented by the Ventura County Star. Shout out to our friends at Ventura Ortho. With 6 convenient locations throughout Ventura County, the experts at Ventura Orthopedics are ready to serve your bone, joint, and muscle needs. And seeing an orthopedic specialist is even easier with Urgent Ortho now offering Saturday hours in Ventura. Just walk or link in for, that makes me laugh every time, in for immediate orthopedic care.
I thought you were adding that.
No, that's
I thought you were ad-libbing.
No,
genius.
No. For any questions or to make an appointment, call or text 800-698-1280 or visit venturaortho.com.
Avina's kicking off for the Cougars.
No, Joe. As clever as I can be,
So that's the first extra point I've seen made today. I watched the first half of Camarillo Wainimi, and there was 5 touchdowns and no extra points made.
None?
None.
What's the score over there, Joe?
Well, that game is now a final. Camarillo ruined John Max Wainimi debut. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was 42-18, something like that. Wainimi looked better than they've been. Camarillo, maybe still Camarillo. Oh, look out.
That is a live football. Ventura picks it up.
That is called a muff.
That is a muff. I think a muff punt you actually have to touch. I mean, the Rio Mesa return man did not even reach for that ball. It's a little bit of a mistake on the Rio side, and Ventura takes over on the 13-yard line. And your first touchdown of the season from the 12. What happens on the next play? You get the ball on the 13.
Giacomo Sherman?
First down and 10.
That would be him. Nice. Hey.
So now Jordan Tanner is back in at quarterback. Ledesma split to the left-hand side. It's an inside give to Maxwell, and he picks up about 2 yards.
One turnover meant 1 touchdown for Ventura. Is a second going to mean 2.
On number 50, Davenport of the Spartans. 2nd and 7.
2nd and 7 now.
Foggy glasses.
Gotta clean those glasses off, Joe. Fakes the give to Maxwell. This is a quick throw to the right-hand side. It's probably good enough for a first down, so it'll be 1st and goal Cougars from the 3-yard line. That's completed to Tyler Woodward. That's his 4th catch today.
He looks great. No wonder they're playing 2 sports because they probably can't choose. They're playing great in both.
Now, one player we haven't seen that we expected to was the sophomore Jacob Jeffries.
Ball spot at the 3-yard line. 1st and goal Cougars.
Jacob Jeffries was pitched to me as the change of pace, and Ledesma's gotten that so far.
Would you look at this? Under center and just stuffed in the backfield. Great play by Rio Mesa. We do have a flag, though. That's probably a holding penalty, Joe. So Rio can either take this 1st and goal from the 13 or 2nd and goal from the 5. I think you take the penalty.
Yeah, certainly, even though it's
1, 2, 3, 4.
Too many.
It did come from the back judge. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe too many men on. I didn't see it, would they?
I don't know.
They're kind of just. They're not signaling. It's also week 0 + 1 for the refs.
Oh, yeah, this is clearly against Ventura.
Hold, I think.
It's actually going to be a chop block, Joe. Oof.
That's, he's pointing the wrong way, right? Oh no, Ventura kid's down.
Yeah,
that is a chop block against.
It was a low, a hit below the waist.
For Rio. Okay, so that's going to be it'll be 1st and goal at the 2.5 then.
And that Camarillo Wainimi game, that's a non-league game.
That is a non-league game because both of those leagues only have 5. They both had 1 spot for a non-league
so
game.
there's a bye. Everybody has a bye.
So let's see what we got here. Simi Valley leading Royal 7-0 on a 1 yard.
Simi Royal on the first night?
Yeah, Lawrence over there. Tyler Bangs with
that
a
was
1 yard
Joe.
run.
If I can just say, if we can,
I know those.
That was
those
the
calls.
best game we ever did. That was the best game we ever did.
Was it who'd you do it with?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember. I think it was Derry and Will, and it was 52-49, and there were
conversion at the end,
2 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes. I mean, that was the best high school game I think I did.
All right, let me go through these scores. Nordhoff leading Santa Paula 7-0 after the first. Jake Palmer and Caden Munson with touchdowns for the Rangers. They look strong in that league. St. Bonaventure Rio Mesa. St. Bonaventure Bishop Diego. No score. Sheriffs turned the ball over on downs inside the 1. Oxnard 13, Channel Islands nothing. What else we got here? Buena leading Pacifica 7-6. That's a big game.
Yep. It's a big league game.
Yeah. Every game matters, but that is 2 teams that could compete in this league, and you don't want to start 0-1. I'm trying to find here we go. Camarillo 42, Hueneme 19. When I was there, Camarillo scored early on a long touchdown run and then had a 85-yard pick 6 by Jack Bauer when Hueneme was going in. Then Hueneme came back, took the lead 13-12, and it looks like it was all Camarillo from there.
So Cougars have the ball on the 2-yard line, 1st and goal, 9:35 to go in the second quarter. Just a beautiful sunset now as the wind has died down. It's a little warmer, I think, than it was a few minutes ago, and the Cougars seem to just be warming up here as they try to make this a 2-touchdown lead. Pitch wide to the left, cut back into the middle by Maxwell, and he will extend his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Ventura. It is 13-0. After a scoreless first period, they've struck twice in 2 minutes and 32 seconds. And Ventura has a decided advantage at this moment. And a game that, Joe, in the first quarter was a very even game.
Yeah, difference of the game so far is just the turnovers. Kind of Rio
2 in a row.
Hung, and it's kind of collapsed a little bit. They really need a good drive here.
You know, it's funny. You hear the coaches, and it's a quiet stadium. They're saying, "Hey, who's Renee's back?" I think that's what he said.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I mean, we're just trying to figure this out, you know, on so many levels.
That's the other thing about sports during the pandemic. Without fans, you're hearing stuff that you normally wouldn't hear. Normally, there'd be a buzz in the stadium.
Right.
It'd be harder to make that out. So.
But Joe, I want to say this. You know, people talk a lot about how they don't like commentators or certain networks that carry games. The television networks in general that carry sports worldwide have done a great job of making us feel like there isn't an eerie atmosphere in the stadiums, right? They've made us feel like there's some fans, there's a crowd, and there's nothing. And even tonight, to have some fans here, this would be such a different experience if there was no one here.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it would be a very different experience.
I agree. Every fan counts.
I mean, you were at this game, this Rams game, with no one. It must have just been so weird.
Dude, I was like, what am I doing here? It was really just eerie and odd, and it made me really value. I mean, the game going experience is so much about the fans and the buzz and the cheers and the reaction to the stadium to a big moment. And when something big happens in a huge stadium and there's no response, or the response is like this canned sound that you hear in a lot of places, we could hear that canned buzz in the stadium. And that made it was almost even eerie. I don't know what was worse, silence or something that didn't match up with reality.
That fair catch is called for by Anthony Martinez and taken. So Rio Mesa has a problem here, and this is on the last 2 plays, more or less, one offensive, one on a return. They've turned the ball over, and they really need to put some sort of drive together here and answer Ventura's 14-0 lead.
I got a text from RJ Maria. Sal Maria is indeed his brother.
Okay.
when a state champion texts you,
Yep.
you report it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And where is RJ? Did he end up playing at the collegiate level in any way?
Text me and let me know what's happening. Where are you?
Brought down with number 15, Noah McGee.
Joe, this is something I just don't know. Did they play community college football this year or no?
They did not.
Second down.
Are they playing in the spring?
They are playing right now in certain places. Ventura and Moorpark are not. They're about to start spring sports for community college. The winter and fall were canceled. Were opted out.
That pass is complete. Chance Harrison. Joe, that's a freshman. Now, this is a player who is a freshman. You know, it's very rare that you see a freshman playing high school football, right? But in this case, this is the spring of freshman year when freshmen would be practicing with varsity, getting ready to play on varsity as sophomores.
It's a good point. He's a sophomore to be. Which is a term we use all the time in the summer, which
Exactly.
is really weird and confusing too.
Exactly. And in spring football, you move up to that next level. But either way, the freshman, again, it's just really something you don't see a lot. Oh, just pummeled in the backfield is Jones.
Somebody missed the block.
Nice play by the Cougars defensively. Simon Brown, who had the pick earlier. I think the last freshman I remember like really playing at the high school level was Darnay Holmes, and he's in the NFL. So.
And how great was he with the year that Newbury Park went to the final?
Oh man, no, I'm talking about when he was at Oaks.
Oh, right.
When he was a freshman at Oaks, and then went to Newbury Park.
Yeah, he was also excellent there. I think I'm realized. Yeah.
You okay over there?
Yeah, I just realized I still have my mask on.
Right. Penalty flag down, quarterback down, sack on the play at the 38-yard line, holding against Ventura. Okay, just what the doctor ordered for the Spartans, a automatic first down. That'll be really helpful to try and establish some momentum here. We're approaching the 7.5-minute mark of the second quarter, 14-0 at Larrabee Stadium.
Danny, here's something for you to ponder.
No, it was hold on, Joe. Holding against Rio Mesa, and it is week 0+1, and it'll bring up third down and long after the sack.
So, can you imagine being an administrator at Royal tonight and having to keep people out of the Royal Semi game?
Right, because no one's allowed at that game.
And then the big question is, what exactly do you do at Fillmore and Santa Paula
right.
to keep people out of that game in a couple weeks?
So that was a sack. They ended up taking the penalty, which seems a little odd. When is Santa Paula Fillmore?
It's in 3 weeks. Jeez. It's not the last game. Buenaventura is the last game.
And a really big hit defensively. Jacoby Cardellino, we've seen him a couple times.
Rio's just...
Actually, that was Giacomo Sherman. Sorry. Yeah, they're just going in the wrong direction.
The muff. He recovered the muff to set up the second score.
Right.
So... both the Cougars with takeaways today continuing to contribute defensively.
Seniors and all, it looks like a pretty solid Ventura football team.
Yeah, they're playing. They didn't have a great scrimmage. Newbury whacked them pretty good.
3rd and 24, and running upfield is Henry Borjas, and he picks up about 10 yards. Loses the ball late, but they'll say he was down, and now it's a punt coming.
But that's the benefit of a scrimmage when you go and play a Newbury Park team that shows you some of your weaknesses. You're able to make adjustments and be a better team to start the season. So I think part of that story. And then, you know, Rio scrimmaged Camarillo. If they'd have gotten the upper hand in that game, Camarillo came out tonight. Had a great performance off that scrimmage performance.
Romero back deep to punt for the Spartans.
4th and 15.
Penalty on the play.
Cougars drawn offside, it looks like, 5 yards. That'll make it
Ball start.
4th and 10. No, it'll be called on Rio.
Moves the ball back 5 yards.
I will say this. There's like a really, maybe after the punt, Anthony can get this. I don't know if the camera will catch it, but there's like a sort of really nice long sunset out to the right, and it's mostly dark, but it's not as windy as it was about 2 hours ago. I mean, it was really cold.
Things have kind of normalized.
Joe, I was just in the Caribbean for a couple months, man. I'm not up for this. It's cold weather. Oh my gosh.
Never mind. The place you normally, the places you have lived in your lives have really never been that cold. So.
No, well, it's colder in Barcelona than here, that's for sure.
But even, it's still temperate though, right?
Not really.
Like Carolina?
It's in like the high 40s for like 2 months. Low 50s, high. Let's call it low 50s for a couple months.
It's been like that here.
Yeah, but
so similar.
Listen, you're from New England. That's a whole other conversation that really just does not need to be had.
Yeah, well, my blood is now thin like the rest of you.
Yeah, exactly. You're like the rest of us.
It's been a long time.
The rest of us. So it's 5:45 left, ladies and gentlemen. The second period of this game, the Ventura County game of the week. Ventura and Rio Mesa.
Ledesma again.
Cade Ledesma runs to the left side and gets not much. Actually loses a couple yards.
So you got to think that in such the way that turnovers jump-started the Ventura offense.
Right.
You got to wonder whether Rio is going to need some sort of defensive play to kind of jump back into this a little bit and get going. Certainly the offense needs some help at the moment.
And just to slow down this Ventura offense, wide open man on the far side, and he reaches out and makes the grab. Curran Walker's down at the 21-yard line, and the Cougars are looking to add to their lead. What a grab by Walker. I thought that was way overthrown.
In stride.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. And there you go again with some Tanner's looking good. Downfield strikes. Some old school downfield action.
And Joe, what was a very even game now is in danger of getting out of hand. Quick handoff. Picks up about 2. Second and 8.
Second and 8 for the Cougars.
4 minutes and 22 seconds left in this half. It's another inside give, Maxwell. Maybe they want to take another shot at a field goal.
Brought down by number 99, Anthony Martinez.
Let's remember that missed field goal, too.
That's right.
Third down.
Followed by, on one of the subsequent plays, the third down play, an interception. Cougars scored a few plays later. Then the muffed kickoff by Rio Mesa. Cougars scored a few plays later. And now on the ensuing drive, Ventura trying to stretch it. Ledesma! Did he hang on to it? No. It's a touchback. It's intercepted.
And that was Borjas. Is that 18?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And Rio Mesa needed this type of play to turn the game around. Ledesma went up for it. I think he was on his back with the ball bouncing around. Borjas just took it away from him. And Rio Mesa takes over 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. A pivotal play.
That's crazy.
To keep this thing from being a 3-touchdown game.
You got 2 guys who have taken a lot of snaps, probably most of the snaps from center today, between the 2 of them. You include Tanner in that. And then they're down there in the end zone fighting for a ball. I mean, this is almost like football as basketball.
The game has gone that way.
They're playing all his positions.
Years, you know. That's right. Keeper on the inside. This time, no, it is Henry Borjas. Yeah,
makes a big play defensively.
Yeah,
There's a little baseball for you. You make a big play in the field, and now you're at bat.
You're up to bat.
Second and 7.
2nd and 7, Joe.
3:12 left, first half. 14-0 Ventura.
Really important juncture in this game for Rio Mesa. If they can put some points on the board, even if it were a field goal,
Brought down by number 7,
and
Josias Bowers.
prevent Ventura from doing anything.
Brings up third down.
Cougars got the ball to start the game.
Okay.
It'll be Rio Mesa ball in the second half. You really need some points here.
Oh, Rio's got a nice little double chance score right here. If they can convert this third down. Double score chance. Is that what I said?
You said double chance score.
I'm writing my notes. I'm tweeting. I'm doing.
You know, all those
It's
books
also-
that tell you not to multitask.
also-
Joe is a walking example of why that's not true.
It's week 0 plus
Week
1.
0
for me
plus
too.
1. 3rd and 5. It's like double secret probation, and that is not a great throw.
work.
Warhawks just lost that. And what's Rio Mesa going to do on 4th and 5? You got to punt.
One last pass, incomplete.
You know, I want to make one note, and I'll probably bring this up again in the second half. So I'm the type of person, like, I love going to sporting events. You know what the last sporting event I was at, by the way, Joe?
Back deep for the Cougars.
England-South Africa cricket in
wow.
Cape Town in January, right?
Wow, look at you.
Well, what?
I could have sat here all night guessing sporting events, and I never would have gotten
That
that
was the last one.
That's crazy.
That was the last one.
England. How long was that?
Romero-
Is that like an all-day thing?
It was 9 hours. Yeah, it was 9 hours. It was really fun.
Do you pack like a picnic or something?
No, it's beers are like $1.50 in Cape Town.
Oh, okay,
so
there
it's
you go.
quite a day. But Joe, here's my point. I don't know if you've talked about this at all with friends or people that like events, sporting events, festivals, and they've said, I don't know if I'm going to feel all right being in the stands. What's it going to be like to be around people? You know, and for me, this is my first sporting event. It feels exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay, it's like it just feels okay. There are masks and everybody's distancing, but this just feels like a high school football game. And everybody at home, I want to tell you that as soon as fans are allowed back in stadiums in the fall, hopefully, and we are all vaccinated and all healthy and we have low case counts, get out to as many games as possible. The kids need it. The athletic departments need it. Get out and support high school sports because it just feels like a game. It just feels like being at the game.
Yeah, once we've got into it, and both sides punted a couple times, the pandemic fades away into the background, and it's a Friday night at Laramie Stadium.
Totally. It's just exactly. I don't smell any tri-tip. That's the biggest problem. But other than that, we're doing fine.
It's true. It's sad.
It's really a problem. Do you think they could have cooked tri-tip just for us, maybe?
That's asking a lot, Daniel.
2 minutes and 3 seconds left for Ventura, who has certainly owned this second period. Tanner dumps that off to Maxwell, and he basically gets no gain. Nice play defensively.
Tanner pass complete to Maxwell.
Cody Allen, first time we've called his name, the defensive back. And
Brought down to number 5, Sal.
each
Maria.
team has a pair of timeouts, but neither using them right now. 1 minute and 40 seconds left on 3rd and long. I'm a little bit surprised Rio didn't take a timeout there. Cougars not going slowly either. Here's Tanner throwing across the field,
Big
and
tackle.
that's caught, and a huge hit on the far side. Clock will keep running, so Rio Mesa needs to take a timeout.
Number 5.
Listen, I understand celebrating that hit, but if you want to get the ball back, there's a minute 19 left.
Down for the Cougars.
The Cougars are staying on the field right now, though.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't call timeout.
Somebody take a timeout. Now they're punting. Now Rio should take a timeout. Guess not.
Don't disagree. Because you're going to let him take off half
for the Cougars.
the time off of that.
Well, it appears that we will go into halftime at 14-0. Ventura's advantage.
Basically the two turnovers dictating.
Ooh, Rutgers is beating Clemson.
I followed so little college basketball
No,
during the pandemic that I have no idea what that means.
No, I don't follow college basketball until basically, maybe last weekend a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's the novelty, Joe. When are we ever going to be able to say we're calling a game watching March Madness?
I followed Jaime Jaquez last night. That's what I did.
Could not be here.
Was that last night or was it 2 nights ago? It was
last night, right?
It was last night.
Career high 27 points.
Broadcast
UCLA into the second round, beating Michigan State.
all the action free.
But that's about it. And we've got a couple other locals tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's just more about the novelty, because I know this is more than likely not going to happen again, where you have high school football and March Madness on the same night.
John Mack and Dimitri Young coaching games the exact same time on the same exact campus.
So crazy.
And talking about coming across watching, I think that was Rio Mesa playing Ventura. Right. It was a team in red playing baseball.
Yeah, I think it was.
Coming over here, and
once again, coming up
2/3 of the pitching rotation are playing a football game.
The Ventura Cougar Varsity Cheer Squad.
And we're just scratching the surface. I mean, everybody is playing right now.
Everybody's playing. Yeah, it's kind of like when the Lakers and Dodgers were, in the playoffs at the same time. Which
we've gone from literally 0 to 60 sports.
Yeah. Cougars set to punt away, 39.7 seconds left. Neither team really wanted to use their timeouts. This one's popped up in the air.
Okay, that
takes a Rio bounce.
See, now you wish you'd call timeout.
Yeah, what if you had a timeout left in 1 minute and 30 seconds?
Daniel, you're preaching to the choir.
That's why I'm not a coach.
Where the Spartans will take over 1st and 10.
But you play one on video, on internet stream.
We're on YouTube.
You play one on YouTube.
Gosh, when did we do the first game of the week? I want to say 2011?
11, I think.
Yeah, 2011. 10 years of the game of the week?
We should have like a special logo. Anthony, get on that.
Right.
10-year anniversary.
Inside screen. Busted to the outside. Up to midfield and out of bounds. But only 23 seconds left.
All right, well, you need one big play and then maybe a kick. 20-yard, 30-yard play.
No, one big play and one big kick.
That's it.
By number 8, Giacomo Sherman.
They're into Ventura territory now. 23.6 left. It's a 13-yard play. Chance Harrison, the freshman again.
Yeah, he's looked impressive thus far. The rising sophomore.
There's a name to know. Yeah, I like that. Rising.
First and 10, and that is dropped. It might be for the better. It only takes 3 seconds off the clock, right? And it doesn't look like that play was going anywhere.
Didn't mean dropped it, I meant buried it.
You're being called upon, Joe. Do you have 2 phones?
Yeah. Very important. Oh, Anthony corrects us. It's technically our 9th season.
Oh, really?
So next year we have a whole year.
Well, no,
to come up. Yeah, this year, later this year.
Yeah,
later this year.
I'm gonna have to try and
do a special logo.
Yeah, like 10th anniversary Buenaventura. Like, I feel like I need to be here for that.
That's right. Every Buenaventura.
I know. 2 Buenaventura games in 1 calendar year. That's pretty fun. Borjas rolling to the right, and
it's going to take up a lot of time.
That's the problem, as you said, Joe. The clock's still running. I don't think it should have been. It should have been about 12 seconds left.
Well, that's on the keeper.
He did not stop the clock and get out of bounds. They'll say the contact happened before. So you got 1 timeout. It's 3rd down. You need about 25 yards.
Yeah, now you're
just, putting points on the board.
I mean, you need to use about 10 seconds of the 10.2 here to get in some sort of kicking range.
Right.
I mean, now it's just... But, yeah, let me see if I can queue up some scores here.
That'd be great, Joe. Please not Ohio State Oral Roberts. In case the Larsons are listening.
Somebody texted me Oral Roberts ! And I was like, okay.
So is that a dentist or something?
It's like, I'm familiar with the school, but I mean, Throckmorton passed to Wallace, 21-7 Simi over Royal.
Interesting.
14-14 Buena Pacifica.
That's a good game. That's a
good.
Really good game.
St. Bonaventure 7, Bishop Diego 6.
Okay. Borjas will keep. They're basically just trying to set up a Hail Mary with the last time out. So 1 play from the 35-yard line to try and make this a 14-6 game.
Brought down by number 52.
I mean, if you had a really good kicker. talking 52-yarder.
Joe, come on.
Really nice for
Jake Lansky.
right.
I mean,
So Leilani Armenta with the PAT for St. Bonaventure.
Okay.
We've had a bunch of female kickers have a lot of success recently, and I believe this is another one for St. Bonaventure. That really good story, I'll tell you, from my preview reporting. Ryan Boland, the head coach of Buena High, talking about, we've got really solid players. We don't have any Division I athletes. We got one Division I athlete. And he was talking about when they were working in their pods, he would go up to the pod and be like, which one of you guys has a Division I scholarship? And it was Taylon Butterbaugh, their third-year kicker, who's got a scholarship to Idaho State women's soccer.
Wow.
Was the one who would always, he was just trying to embarrass, teases.
Is Trish still the Buena coach? Anyway, final play of the half. Borjas throws it up, and it's caught, but well short of the end zone. And that brings to a close the first half play, the return of high school football here in Ventura County. The Cougars opportunistic in the second period. They strike twice and they lead 14-0 on the Ventura County Star Game of the Week, brought to you by Ventura Orthopedics. I'm Danny Page, with me Joe Curley, our producer Anthony Placencia. We will take a timeout and we'll be back with the second half in about 10 minutes. Welcome back to Larrabee Stadium, just a couple minutes away from kickoff of the second half on the Ventura Ortho Game of the Week. Danny Page, Joseph Curley, the one and only.
Daniel.
I bet you're in the top like 0.3 percentile of number of tweets all time, you know?
Yeah,
you are one of the greatest tweeters in Ventura County history.
Still behind Rhiannon, though.
Right. Well, in volume? I don't think so. I mean, quality for sure she wins. Let's be honest.
Definitely.
Tanner, but Joe, take us through scores here. It's 14-0. We're just about to start the second half.
So Tanner Wolf's 14-yard touchdown pass for Royal cuts Simi Valley's lead to 21-13. That's still 6 minutes left to go, second quarter. Boys soccer, I'm going to mix this in because it's just so insane. Boys soccer, Augur nothing, Westlake nothing.
Why is that in?
I'm just going to mix the other sports in just so you realize how insane our feed is
soccer.
right now.
Okay, got it.
Nordoff 21, Santa Paula nothing. Leram Stone on a quarterback keeper.
That's not soccer either.
That's
right?
football. Okay. That's American football. Like we said, Buena 14, Pacifica 14 at the half. That's a good game. Still St. Bonaventure 7, Bishop 6 up at La Playa. And Oxnard 27, Channel Islands nothing. Not a surprise there. John Vasquez is the quarterback, at least on this touchdown pass to Marcus Bustillos, which is kind of newsy. St. Bonaventure sweeps Lorena in girls volleyball in their last game of the season. Just going to mix all this in.
Yeah.
Fillmore.
In the last game of the season.
Yeah, but girls volleyball finished first, which is why it was so important that they get in and get like 10 days, you know. But they're going to have, obviously, beach volleyball as a spring sport.
And what about basketball? Is that why they needed to do it? Is because there was gym time?
So there's, all these sports have to fit these windows.
Right.
They're allowed to start at a certain time and end at a certain time, and girls volleyball had to end earlier and water polo ended today too, actually.
Okay.
Or
didn't it just start like a week ago?
Yeah, it's like 2-3 weeks. Yeah. That's why it was, everything was so jammed together. Fillmore 14-10 at Dos Pueblos. Fillmore was supposed to be playing Carpinteria this weekend. Carpinteria is in quarantine, so Fillmore quickly got Dos Pueblos. I don't know who Dos Pueblos was supposed to play. They were either off or had a similar situation, but they quickly went up to. That game was like agreed upon 2 days ago, and Fillmore is leading Dos Pueblos 14-10 with only 2 minutes left to go in the third. So the Flashes have a chance to win that game, which would be really great for them. Camarillo played Foothill. I don't have a score on that, but Camarillo played Foothill in volleyball. I'm just going through our feed. And I think that's, obviously it's 14-0 Ventura here. And that's pretty much it. Again, we have 4 big games tomorrow, too. We're not going to be doing a live stream, but I will be at the 52nd Conejo Championship game between Newbury Park and Thousand Oaks. Thousand Oaks, by the way, we're looking to see how much improved they are under their new coaching staff. Newbury Park opened well in their scrimmage against Ventura last week in a game where, kudos to those coaches. When you've only got, like we said, this window, right? You only got 6 weeks to play a game, or to play games. They have to scrimmage. They made the scrimmage more like a game. They had the scoreboard open. They live streamed it. I think the cheerleaders were involved. So, even though Ventura, they had to play a scrimmage last week, I think they kind of used it as a game experience for the kids, giving them kind of a 6-ish game for their schedule.
And of course, Oaks Christian Westlake tomorrow. You'll be at T.O. Newberry, Joe?
I'll be at T.O. Newberry.
Is that a night game?
It is a night game.
Why is it being played on Saturday?
That's a good question. Probably
because they can.
I think it's because of sport, different. Because you also have lacrosse and soccer using the facilities, so they have to. A lot of these schools, especially the ones that have lacrosse, have to play on Saturday as well. So I don't that's actually a really good story.
There's
idea.
no college football too. And what a fun
competing
opportunity to play on Saturday night.
So, and it gives us more games to cover too.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have 11 game. If there's these more Saturday games, we're going to have 11 game nights in a 6-week season, including the LA County team. So, it gives us more to look at. We'll get to see more of the action and learn more of these kids in such a short window. I mean, Lauren and I have been busy working on these COVID stories and how it's affecting all this other stuff. That I mean, we went into this week trying to do the football preview, and we were like, what? We did normally what we would do in a couple weeks in August for the football preview in a couple days. So, Lauren did a really good job. He wrote an incredible story in the paper this week just on this, everything that goes into this short season. So check it out at vcstar.com. Really proud of my coworkers' work this week.
The lock.
And then it was great. Somebody on Twitter today.
Here's a short kick. Somebody's got to pick it up for
Again.
Rio. And the ball's loose on the turf, and the Cougars appear to have recovered. The second time they've picked up the kickoff. And Ventura starts the second half, not just with the football, but on the 35-yard line of Rio Mesa. Special teams, Joe.
That's a really good point. I mean, with a truncated preseason, you don't have time for every detail, and special teams might have been something that maybe went lacking.
And it will be Cade Ledesma starting out as the quarterback for the Cougars. It is a give to Eric Maxwell. This Ventura running attack, as it has been for many years, really seems to be, for the most part, a one-back system. We think about Connor Armstrong or going all the way back to Tyler Ebell. I mean, there have been some really iconic running backs here. And
Joaquin Real. I can bring it.
Joaquin was
he was a cowboy.
He was my class. He's still a cowboy. He is still a professional bull rider. That is what he does.
Yeah. Awesome.
Second down and 8. And now it's complete to Maxwell. And that's a first down. Petey Duran, another exceptional back for the Cougars. Went to that championship game where they lost to St. Bonaventure.
That's right. Yeah, Connor Armstrong was great. Trying to think of, obviously.
Martinez of the Spartans. Ball spotted at the 22-yard line.
So,
23-yard line.
Cannot be underscored how big a defensive series this is for Rio Mesa.
Massive.
Have to keep them out of the end zone.
It's just 60 seconds in to this second half.
It's a run play.
And it will go down as a run play and a rush of about 4 yards, Joe. That's Curran Walker. His first catch, or first carry, I should say. And Ventura's knocking on the door here. This play, and if there is a third down to follow, I mean, this would really be what could decide this game for Rio Mesa. And it is a keeper from Ledesma. Ledesma hurdles a man and gets down to the 10-yard line. I thought he was on the way in.
Yeah, he looked like he had a seam, and then somebody just came over and extended the play, and it was enough for the hole to close.
Brought down by Bolas of the Spartans.
The 10-yard. Cade is piling up the yardage.
Cougars taking their time here on first and goal from the 10 with 10 minutes to go in the third quarter. And there's Maxwell again. He already has a score on the night, still on his feet, and he's down to the 4. Second and goal from the 4.
Whirling Dervish.
Second and goal for the Cougars.
Brings second and goal up from the 4. Ledesma still at the quarterback position.
It's been, it's why they've been effective in the red zone. There he goes again. Ooh,
And
good play.
no, great play in the backfield. It's Borjas.
Johnny Borjas.
Yeah.
Bittner wasn't kidding. He may have been kidding about who was going to be his quarterback, but he wasn't kidding when he said that Johnny Borjas was going to be everywhere.
I mean, what both of the Borjas brothers are. They are
Henry has
everywhere in this game.
Henry has thrown a pick and picked a pass off.
Yep.
3rd down and 5.
This is really where this Rio Mesa defensive line has to kind of rise up. This is Tanner back.
Yeah, Jordan Tanner's back at the quarterback position. Cougars a little late bringing in this call. Just 5 seconds on the play clock. I don't think Tanner saw it. And Ventura takes a timeout.
Timeout, Cougars.
So, a really important 3rd down in this game. Coming here in the early part of the 3rd quarter.
Here, we've got a timeout, Daniel. What has been your football consumption abroad? How have you...
Gosh.
I know you've continued to watch the NFL. What about, is there a way to get college football?
Oh, Joe, come on, man.
Are you watching your Trojans?
I have a dish, my parents' dish subscription that is tied to Sling that I watch anywhere.
Oh,
I don't watch the Trojans; they are way too frustrating. But I don't know how to say this on a broadcast. Let's just say there's since August. There's a new woman in my life, and she is from Latin America. She lives in Barcelona also. She learned a lot about football this year. Okay, and she knew nothing before.
There you go.
Sprinting to the left is Jordan Tanner, throws to the back of the end zone. It's incomplete. At this point, Joe, 4th and goal. I mean, you want to make it a 3-score game, right?
Definitely. You have to kick the field goal.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because, one of the ways that you're able to leave the country is when you still have that tie to football. You're still able to consume
Well,
the NFL.
I'm up every Sunday night until 1:30 in the morning watching Red Zone.
Jeffries with a hold.
That's for sure.
You can take the kid out of Ventura. You can't take the Ventura out of the kid.
For the AFC and NFC championship games, too, I stayed up till like 5 in the morning. And this field goal, it is up, and it is good. A nice rush coming in from Rio Mesa, but in this game where points have been a little hard to come by.
There has not been a point without a turnover.
Exactly.
That's the story of this game.
Making it a 3-score game feels like it could be an insurmountable advantage. We'll see what Rio Mesa can put together.
Just one drive to change the momentum. See me back ahead of extending its lead 28-13.
So I just wanted to go back to some of the, sort of the old days of doing Game of the Week, and there was, like, if I can just let people inside the war room, we would have these really interesting email exchanges on what games we would reach out to CIF about, right?
Sure.
And the actual television networks would often pick up the, like, Oaks Westlake type games, right? And we wouldn't end up doing that. And I think we did Oaks Westlake once, and it was in a down year for Westlake, and Oaks won like 56-7 or 56-10. There was always a debate every year, right, John Catalini? Like, we would always go back and forth about how Simi Royal, we had to do it every year, and we did it quite a few years. But that is just always a good game, I think.
Yeah, certainly the memories of that wild 52-50, 51-49.
I think it's 52-49 or something. Didn't it go to overtime or no?
It was a 2-point conversion that won the game.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It was like 52-50.
I think it was 52-50. Anyway, we'll look it up.
50.
I still have.
Deuce, what was the score? What was the score?
You can look it up. Let me finish reading out the field goal.
Matt Shumbiato.
Oh, yeah.
Or something along those lines.
Cal Lutheran. He won a national championship in baseball at Cal Lutheran.
That's right. That's right. Now we're just really digging deep here. Sorry for anybody at home.
I think he coached and played simultaneously the two sports at Celia. No, he coached at Royal while he played baseball. Coached football at Royal while he played baseball at Celia. The mind is coming around. Yeah, Rio sticking with the run because, when you lose your quarterback to baseball, you might not have an option to open up the game when you're 3 scores down.
I'm checking any.
Down and 6 for Spartans.
Deuce says this is the 10th season of Game of the Week.
Oh, oh no.
Anthony's not so sure. Thanks for listening in, Deuce. You were
Gentleman and a scholar. And
yeah, an important part of these games. Quick throw from Borjas, and that is incomplete as well. So as you said, I think one of the big surprises in terms of who and where tonight has been that the younger Borjas brother has been the one at the quarterback position.
I'm afraid Derry's going to enjoy his night on the couch.
Yeah.
And not want to come back when he's able next week.
Yeah, you think Derry's going to be excited about coming back to cover games. He just wants to go to the movies.
Well, he told me, he tweeted me this week. We were talking, Anthony knows. He told me, he goes, Oxnard and Ventura Century Cinemas are back this week. And I'm like, Derry's back.
Right.
The man has seen more movies than
Yeah.
if I need an opinion on a movie,
yeah,
I just text Derry
on the Cougars.
and I know what to do. Who to see.
Who's ball up 5 yards. Makes it 3rd down and 1 for Spartans.
So it's 3rd down 1 for Rio Mesa, and at this point they need to put points on the board. It's 17-0, but it feels like a greater advantage than that in many ways. Just because, as we've said, Ventura's points have all come off of turnovers. 2 on kickoffs, 2 muffed kickoffs, and an interception.
Big player, 3rd and 1.
Carried to the left side, and that is going to be short. Basically no gain, 4th down and a yard still for Rio Mesa. Mario Xavier Jones is tackled out of bounds. So what do you do here? Are they going to punt? I guess so. And you hear the Cougars coaches saying, watch the ball, as if keep an eye out for a fake. Certainly a possibility.
You don't want to waste the timeout on,
Back to punt.
checking to see if they're going to jump off sides, but you need this yard. They're going to punt it.
A little help from the wind. Actually, we just caught a nice gust, and this is a deep punt. And this one's muffed. A collision, but yet the Cougars come up with it. He took a shot, too.
They're calling for the trainers because
that was a clear contact between the helmets.
I mean, they're both diving for the ball.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than some of the, helmet-to-helmet type of plays we see over the years, right?
It's interesting you don't see that more often.
Right.
That helmets colliding when they're both.
Oh, but that was a shot.
And now we've got parents.
Yeah, you certainly hear some more things.
Things, quote unquote. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call that a cheap shot. They're both diving.
No,
for
they're
the
just
football.
both going for the ball. This is the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week, presented by the team at the Ventura County Star. And remember, for Ventura Orthopedics, 6 convenient locations throughout Ventura County. The experts at Ventura Orthopedics are ready to serve your bone, joint, and muscle needs. And seeing an orthopedic specialist is even easier with Urgent Ortho. Now offering Saturday hours in Ventura. Are you ready, Joe? Just walk or limp in for immediate orthopedic care. For any questions or to make an appointment, call or text 800-698-1280 or visit venturaortho.com.
Excellent.
I was one of these injured football players once at Ventura High School. Broke my leg. Ventura Orthopedics did the surgery.
Really?
Yep. That wasn't in a game. It was in practice.
Oh, I've heard that story.
Took me into the booth.
Good coach.
I certainly hope that this young man's all right. Giacomo Sherman's had a really nice game. And he's on his feet.
As the fog settles in.
Oh, yeah.
Over the
You
field.
sure that's not the smoke from the tri-tip?
I wish.
No. Some of my favorite moments of doing these games is when we literally make Anthony Placencia laugh out loud. you know. You can hear him over there.
I was going to say, when we ask Anthony to go get you a tri-tip sandwich in the middle of the game and you try to eat it while doing broadcast.
I got to say, they don't play here anymore, but the best tri-tips were, say, Bonaventure.
Oh.
Like that.
Well,
I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he is just, he's on the tri-tip Mount Rushmore.
I mean, it's all good.
And for the first time, the ball's fumbled, for the first time, we are seeing the backup for the Cougars, Jacob Jeffries. And I call him the backup because at this point it does seem like more of a backup role for Jeffries. I mean, let's remember, he is just a sophomore.
Well, it's a situation where Tanner graduates and he takes over, and Ledesma graduates and he's the quarterback in the fall.
He's the quarterback in the fall.
So they're giving him the spring, you know, what would normally be in spring practice, it would be his show.
And you want him on the field as much as possible, and that's in and out of the hands of Ledesma.
That's not helpful.
Jeffries pass incomplete, intended for number 7, K. Ledesma.
Hey, and now Rio's got them in a 3rd and long. You make a play here, and then the punt becomes a good decision. But certainly at some point, the Spartans need to turn field position into points, or it's all going to be for naught.
Third and long. Jeffries throws to the far side of the field, and the Ventura receiver didn't see that one coming at all.
Harrison's eyes lit up, but he couldn't get there in time. If he catches that, that's 6 points for Rio.
Yep.
Bonus on the coverage. Brings up 4th down.
But you've got a sophomore quarterback throw-in challenging a freshman corner.
Paying out a punt for the Cougars.
But certainly, there's a name to highlight and circle. Chance Harrison, 9th grader.
9th grader. He's a player. He really is.
Certainly has been one of the more interesting players in the field for Rio. After they come after the punt, there's a flag down. That could be bad news for Rio.
And there was a Cougar down right at that spot. This is holding against Ventura. So Rio Mesa will decline, and they will take over with good field position, needing a score here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, do you take that and then back them up 10 more yards? And
into the wind, too.
Into the wind.
Yeah, I think you do it.
Yeah, re-kick. There it is, Daniel.
Good call, Joe.
Yeah, you back them up, you make them punt almost from their own end zone, and then, you know, again, we're talking about there hasn't been a lot of time for special teams work for these teams in a couple weeks of preseason, so, you know, maybe you get, and it's a rough night to catch the football. You get the cold football and the wind. You never know. You get one bad snap and it changes
You're on
everything.
the board, yeah. You're a better strategist than Churchill, Joe.
Seen a lot of these games. Oh, it's so great to see another one.
5:48 to go in the 3rd quarter, and
they came after it.
Yeah, they came after it. The Cougars get the punt away, but Rio will end up with decidedly better field position. They start at the Ventura 41 when they were about to start at their own 40-yard line. So Curley calls it, and 5:39 left. Rio is 42 yards away from the score that they so desperately need.
All right, let's. Oh, you want to do that Ventura live read?
Yeah, can I use your phone?
Sure. It didn't come through?
Yeah, I just have the basketball game on.
Okay. All right, here we go. 1 second.
How many people have you texted in the last hour?
Information is.
Look at this charger.
Looking
New
long.
quarterback in for Rio, looking long for Borjas. He's got it. Touchdown, Rio Mesa.
There it is.
Just like that. 17-6. What an absolute strike. As well, into the hands of Borjas. It was thrown by Adrian Gonzalez.
He's a sophomore quarterback.
Wow, he just delivered a strike.
I'm starting to wonder whether the Borjases are flipped in the roster.
Joe,
Does that make more sense?
you made this Borjas call, okay?
Jimmy told me.
Thank goodness their family's in the stands here and not listening to us. Extra point blocked. It's 17-6. And Rio Mesa scores. I'd almost call that a hole-in-one, Joe. And attention golfers, the 6th annual Black and Gold Golf Tournament benefiting the Ventura High School Cougar football program is coming up May 2nd at the Buenaventura Golf Course. Individual entry fee is $150 or $600 per foursome. Corporate sponsor levels are available. Registration ends April 23rd. Info and registration on the Cougar football website, vhscougarfootball.org. For detailed information, talk to Brian Willis, 805-824-9222. That is the Ventura Cougar Football Program Golf Tournament, the Black and Gold Golf Tournament, the 6th edition.
Deep for the Cougars.
There you go.
Also back deep is Walker.
5:31 to go, third quarter. Rio Mesa now on the board. It's an 11-point game. We've gone from a 3-point game to a 3-possession game to a 2-possession game. 17-6. Ventura with Rio kicking off. Rio could use one of those muffed kicks we've seen earlier.
And this kick goes into the end zone. It was really running along the sideline. I thought it was going to go out of bounds, and it was going to add to the kicking woes of Rio Mesa.
Cougars will start at the 21.
At this point, 5:31 to go. I mean, that is the type of quick strike Rio needed. They are in this game. They are down 11 at this point. But this sequence is so pivotal. Good to be back. It's good to be back.
We've got texts from soccer coaches coming in.
And it's a give to the left-hand side to Eric Maxwell.
Hand off to Maxwell. A gain of 8. Brought down by number 5, Maria.
Eric Maxwell we saw in spots last year as a good complimentary runner to what Ventura was doing, and now he's earned this lead, this bell cow role, and he's doing it.
He is certainly the one and only back at this point. I mean, Ledesma will be used different ways, but that's a first down for Ventura.
So there's an 8-yard gain followed by a 7-yard gain.
Brought down by
Ventura out to the 35. Under 5 minutes left to go, third.
Ball spun at the 35-yard line.
Lots of Cougar fans tuning in. Mr. Ledesma's grandmother. Okay, welcome. We're happy to have you. We're happy to have you on the broadcast. That's what local football is all about here. Jeffries runs to the left. There is going to be a holding penalty against the Cougars. He goes out of bounds after a 2-yard gain, and there's a penalty flag. So the game started to get a little sloppy, and I think that to this point that is to the benefit of Rio Mesa, specifically with them getting back on the board, and now Ventura's going to be backed up on first down.
Nordhoff in control over Santa Paula, 35-0. We've got, here's a basketball score. Lorena over Santa Clara girls, 55-40. It's just insane.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Let's see what else we got here. You're right, hold.
On the Cougars.
Look at you, Daniel. Not your first rodeo.
It's not my first rodeo, Joe.
Much like
I've been watching a lot of football.
Much like Joaquin Real, it's not your first rodeo.
No, I've watched a lot of football still being overseas.
That's so great. They went back a long way.
Yeah, it was a spot foul, so it's 1st and 24. Still Jeffries. Throwing across his body, has a man, and what a grab! Oh, it's eventually dropped. A tough hit Dorian Dawson, the senior, is he all right? I think this is now the fourth Cougar shaken up. It didn't look like there was anything malicious in the hit, but there were just a couple Rio Mesa players colliding with Dawson at once, and he took a bit of a shot.
Simi could have. Simi
Do you
might
have any
be in
scores? Yeah, do
business.
you have any scores for us, Joe?
Yes, Simi is rolling in that game. 35-13. Oh, and Fillmore wins.
Wow.
14-13 up at Dos Pueblos in a game. Oh, they're calling it the Battle of the Bolts because it's the Fillmore Flashes and Dos Pueblos Chargers. That's fantastic. And congratulated on Twitter by former head coach Sean Miller, who sees his Fillmore's now won 8 of their last 10 games.
Wow.
Last year they got their first playoff win in a decade last year. Great job by Sean Miller, handing the job over to Charlie Weiss, not Charlie Weiss.
I saw that. And
Charlie Weiss.
I thought, wow.
And another young kind of offensive mind. No relation.
Well, I knew that, Joe. But
sorry.
Is there any sort of local connection as well?
Apparently, those two coaches played flag football together. Very close. But Miller came out of the Royal program, and Weiss came out. He was an offensive assistant coach for Tim Husengay at Moore Park. Westlake High girls soccer beats Agura 3-2.
Okay.
Hashtag one tribe. Hashtag the Conejo way.
Okay. Thanks, Joe. I'm trying to find the score of this Royal Simi Classic.
Oh, your game? Okay. I googled it. I couldn't. I'll find it.
Where's the deuce when we need him? Jeffries going to his right on 2nd and long, and now it's a sack. And at this point, having to punt back into the wind.
Now things become interesting.
This is interesting.
The shoe is on the other foot.
The shoe is quite literally. Well, maybe not literally.
Not literally. Royal High Football Max Preps. I am going to do that.
You're going to find this or not?
I'm going to find it for you.
3rd down and 29.
We will find it. 3rd and 29 for the Cougars. Or the Foxes.
I got it, Joe.
Did you see Felix? Oh, you got it. Did you see Felix's social media post this week with the Foxes living in the stadium?
Yeah, I did. I did.
I have a kid who loves Foxes. She wants the team. She wants the Cougars to be renamed the Ventura Foxes.
You like your kid?
My kid loves Foxes.
On 3rd and long, nothing happening there, and how the momentum is turned. And the reality is, Joe, that Ventura was up 17-0, and there was, about 6 minutes left in this game, and now, 6 minutes left in the quarter. There's 3 minutes left in the quarter. It's 17-6, and Rio's getting the ball back.
On a short field?
On a short field, this Rio Mesa defense has turned this game around, and let's see what they do
offensively. Look at Henry Boras in the punt block.
Of course.
Look at him on the
gunner.
Yeah, he's going after this. He's done everything else tonight. Oh, good block.
Punt is away. It's going to take a big Cougar bounce, and it does. And Rio Mesa will take over at their own 44 after a nice punt.
When you're cutting through the wind, sometimes a nice low line drive helps. Hey, it's the wrong webs. That's the wrong
I know.
website.
Well, that's for your team to figure out. Okay, is who's ranking higher on this search?
What year was it?
It was October 18th, 2013.
8 years.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it was more than 7,000 people, 50-49 Royal in double overtime. Oh my gosh.
We got the broadcast somewhere.
15 of 17 wins. That was just a phenomenal game. Going backward is Rio, and that brings up a 2nd down and about 12. So I don't know if this is a must-score situation. It's definitely a scenario for Rio Mesa where they want to pick up a couple of first downs and move the ball back onto the Ventura side.
Oh, penalty will help.
And that's definitely going to help. Now, back in at quarterback still is the sophomore, Adrian Gonzalez, a rising junior.
I like this.
Lose the ball at 5 yards.
Yeah, that was Gary Porter, Channel Islands High, called it the best spring football you'll ever play.
Second down.
Told his team that because obviously you normally have spring football, but you don't get to play games.
Right.
And you've got spring football and games.
Longest tenured coach. Anybody confirm that?
We think. Give me an hour after the game, I can confirm it.
Here's a throw to the left side that actually would have gone down as a run and stuffed that for no gain. Meshalam Tilly, who's a junior. And now the Cougar defense is reasserting themselves. That was a
Reply.
3-yard loss.
No, it's just a 1 year loss. Because it was encroachment up to the 45.
Right.
The Cougars.
Actually, if you look at the sticks,
Brings up 3rd down and 10.
that was a good spot for Rio.
Okay, so Joe, we're going to have a number update, and thank goodness for someone helping us here on YouTube.
Number?
Yeah, the numbers on the Rio Mesa uniforms. This pass is tipped, nearly intercepted by the Cougars, and now Rio Mesa will more than likely need to punt. So here's the deal, Joe. We have rosters straight from Rio Mesa. Let's, in life and business, I'm all about accepting responsibility. In television, absolutely not. We're putting responsibility completely on the Rio Mesa staff.
Oh, those are good guys.
Because they sent us this roster.
Like an hour before the game.
Yeah, Henry Borjas is actually number 21 and Jonathan is number 18.
See,
Yeah,
you
that
realize
makes sense.
I finally halfway through the game I figured that and I was like, I wonder if John's 18 and Henry's 21. All right, well that makes sense. In earlier days, without a broadcast, that's something that would have been that Coach Bittner would have, figured out with me after the game.
Yep.
It's one of the things you go to the coach after the game and clear up. But,
So that means you're going to go give them a talking to, huh, Joe?
So that means that Johnny Borjas, no, I wouldn't. Johnny Borjas
They're great
has
guys,
an interception.
The whole Rio Mesa administration.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've called Chris Raffanelli in the last last 2 months. Because, he's the head of the Basketball Association. He's obviously an AD and one of the biggest leagues around. Knows everything that's going on. So, yeah, these ADs have been. Maybe face mask? Yep.
Yeah, Maxwell carried for a 1-yard gain, but there will be 15 added on.
Which is
exactly 1 minute to go in the third quarter. This has been a really slow third quarter, but an eventful second half of this quarter. And there will be a 15-yard penalty. One would imagine.
So, something that has been captured here and there, tweets and different things, is that the ADs have just, imagine having a year's worth of work boiled down to like 2 months.
Right.
And then, Dave Hess here and Chris Raffanelli and I talked to Danny Guzman at Santa Paula a lot, and just these guys are just killing themselves. You call them during the day and you can't get them. You got to call them at like 8:30, 9 o'clock when they're just grabbing dinner.
Right.
Because they're just working 12, 14-hour days to try to sort all this out to get all these kids their senior year athletic events going.
But what a weird sensation it's been for the last year.
Tanner can run too.
Yeah, as Tanner picks up the first down, or at least very close. No, he does get it.
Close to a first down.
I thought he had picked it up. Let's see what they decide.
I thought he got it too.
Yeah, they do now grant the first down.
1st and 10, Cougars.
Joe, I think one of the things about being an administrator at the high school level, being a coach that's highly involved, I think of the Larson family. I mean, your entire professional career, you've been out on weeknights. You're in gyms, you're out at other games, you're out. And for a year, not only have they not been in school, but they haven't been able to execute these events, which are such a part of their DNA.
Right. Yeah, it's been weird for me to be home on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, of course. Reminds you of your college life,
Saying I didn't do anything on the weekend.
Exactly.
Very nice. Yeah. Page slam. But it's been weird and it's nice to be somewhere.
It's nice to be somewhere, Joe. It's nice to be somewhere.
I mean, not all of us can be in Barcelona.
Well,
Locked.
yeah, exactly. You mean the 10 o'clock curfew we've had for 6 months there?
Wow.
Well, let me just put it this way, Joe. I've had a lot of COVID tests over the last year. All
Got
negative.
laundry.
Oh boy. I think one of the stories that we just want to keep an eye on that's really unfortunate is a few of these injuries we've seen for the Cougars. You know, we've had 4 players helped off the field, and you know, we hope that none of these are serious injuries and they can come back quickly, because you said a little knock and you could be out for half the season.
Yeah, and again, it's not just the serious injuries. You know, it's the 2-week injuries.
Right.
Knock out half your year.
Yeah, then basically you're trying to come back for Buena and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, never mind what Santa Paula went through. Santa Paula's getting its doors blown off tonight. Well, they have barely practiced this week because they had a positive test that ended up being a false negative, and they didn't start preparing. False positive. Didn't start practicing until Wednesday for a Friday game. They had 2 days preparation for Nordhoff. And Nordhoff may be the best team in that league this year.
Right.
So,
and that's how it's going to go, right? Yeah. I think that
it's not going to be perfect.
The conclusion of the college football season.
Yeah, what a mess that was.
It was a mess.
Where Ohio State, it was like
played about 5 games.
It was like staggered. It was like one of those track meets where somebody was in the outside lane the whole time, and then other teams were in the inside lane and didn't have to run as far.
But it's fine. It's a season we'll always remember, and that's going to be the same here. And the important thing is they get to play football.
Yeah, as long as we have to do it. As long as we only have to do it once, it's okay.
Cougars are coming off the field.
Timeout, maybe?
Rio Mesa is still on the field, and it's the end of the quarter, the third quarter.
There you go. Hey. Week 0 + 1.
That is the end of the third quarter in week 0 + 1.
Rio Mesa Spartans.
Ventura leads 17-6, and one way or another, you just feel like over the next few minutes, something's got to give here. Joe, you want to know where I was 1 year ago on this Friday?
Let's hear it.
I was in my sister's apartment about 6 blocks from here, quarantining for 15 days after I flew back to California the day that the borders were shut, basically. The day that was announced. And I just thought of it because you said I'm just happy to be somewhere, and that was a scary time.
Where you were,
right? I mean, we were, it was a really scary time. Those first few weeks as this pandemic unfolded, and for everyone listening, we appreciate your continued support of the Ventura County Star. I mean, the Star has told literally tens of thousands of important stories about high school athletes, and a shout out to Lauren and Joe and John, who continued to do so, and the entire photojournalist team too, Anthony, of course, yourself, that continued to do so in one of the hardest years that any of us have experienced on a large scale. It's great to be back out here.
There was so much work to do that after this play I'll get to it.
Tanner rolls left. He just has to get rid of the ball on third and really long, 25 yards. And the Cougars are going to punt. At least they'll do it with the wind at their backs.
I was going to say that, so much went into getting, covering the pandemic and everything that, the sports side of the pandemic. And we had to write so many stories to get to the day where we could actually start covering football.
Right.
And it was funny the day that we finally looked around and be like, hey, we got game of the week going.
I know.
That was like a week ago.
I know. Great. I'm really, really happy that I happened to be back during this time and get to do this game with you.
And Coach Contreras, not available tonight because of a prior engagement.
Network television.
Will be back soon, hopefully.
Look at this punt. It does go all the way into the end zone.
Now that's a punt.
For Ventura, that's a 61-yard punt.
Spartans will take over at the 20-yard line.
61 yards.
So Rio.
Yes.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time for Rio Mesa.
Basically an entire quarter.
Trail by 11.
Just need a couple scores.
It would be helpful to get one soon, though. I would say that, even if it's just a field goal. Because Ventura is still looking dangerous, although, again, all of their points are coming off turnovers. Inside give for Rio Mesa, and really nothing doing. Second down and 9. And at the same time for Rio, you really don't want to be in these situations where the clock is just continuing to run.
Yeah, Rio's in a position where they're not able to, or they haven't been able to churn big yardage together and throw the ball. And if you're going to run the ball and only get a yard, a lot of times coming off the clock when you need 2 scores.
And another inside handoff. This goes for about 4 yards. That's not exactly what they need at this point, is it? Mario Xavier Jones, and that'll bring up 3rd and 5.
They're not the only team that has lost their quarterback. They're not the only team that's lost their quarterback to baseball.
Right.
Moore Park lost their starting quarterback to the baseball team. And because you think about everything that goes into quarterbacking, it makes it tough. We'll have to ask Tanner about, playing another sport while while filling the quarterback role. And plus you got school. Plus you got everything else going on.
On 3rd down and 5. Pressure coming, and that is thrown away. Adrian Gonzalez on one of, if not his first play of the game, threw an absolute strike for Rio's only touchdown. He goes 3 and out again, and the Spartans are going to have to punt. And I think for Ventura, this drive coming up, it's really a situation where you want to assert yourself on the ground.
Yeah, there's not 4 minutes left, but it's really 4-minute mode.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, if you're Ventura, you want to only have 2 drives left, and you want to take up as much as the remaining 10-14 as possible.
And you pick up a couple first downs here, especially running the football. There's 5 minutes left, and it'll be tough for Rio to squeeze 2 touchdowns into that amount of time. Another high punt, but this one
every time
gets caught in that wind.
Yeah, every time the ball gets up at a certain altitude, it just gets pushed back.
Yeah, I mean, that was way up there, Joe, but that only ended up being a 14-yard punt.
That's where the Cougars will start first.
10:03 left. Any word on the game next week? You guys know what you're doing?
Honestly, I don't know who's playing who next week.
Right.
That's where we are at this point. Yeah. We were scrambling at one point this week. We were scrambling, and John's like, "Which game are we going to do?" And I was like, "Well, give me a second. I'll Google every schedule, and I'll give you a list that you can pick." There was a lot of good games this week. That's Maxwell again.
Yeah, he picks up about 5 yards along the right side. Do you have any update on the Buena Pacifica game, Joe?
Yeah, that's the game that if we were like CBS and could go over to the game in progress, that would be the game.
Well, normally we just go to the deuce, right?
That's right. Let's see here. I might get sucked into soccer or basketball, or you never know.
Lacrosse.
Yeah, don't get me started on lacrosse.
Here's Ledesma, and Ledesma carries for about a yard. So the Cougars keeping it on the ground, keeping the clock running. We talked about that sort of 4-minute mode. But it all depends on picking up pivotal first downs. And Ventura still at the 31-yard line. You would imagine that they would probably go for it on 4th down. So it's more than likely 4 down territory with 3rd and 4 upcoming. Tanner in the shotgun. Maxwell characteristically to his right. And that is complete for a big first down for Ventura. Really just an easy pitch and catch that at the high school level isn't always so easy. And that is caught by, of course, a favorite target, Tyler Woodworth. First down, Cougars.
So how about this?
Tell me.
Dimitri's first game as the Camarillo head baseball coach. They beat St. Bonaventure 12-2.
Okay.
Freshman Boston Bateman hits a home run in his first high school at bat.
Wow.
On the varsity.
It's a great name.
Boston Bateman. Not a bad name, Not a bad name for a baseball player.
And you have to think that Dimitri Young would certainly attract, attract really talented players from the area.
Cam High too. They always have talent.
Yep.
Baseball talent.
Now that would be a follow-up question. What's the largest contract ever signed by an athlete in Ventura County sports?
Number 28.
Yeah, I like that. We'll have to do that.
Not just football.
Yeah, because Troy Hill this
Hill
week
signed a $24 million deal. Throwing to the corner of the end zone. And that's incomplete. If anybody has any idea or thoughts, and this has to be someone who was who literally grew up in Ventura County and was a Ventura County resident. Billy Miller played for years, but contracts were of a different value then, and I don't think he was necessarily.
Eric Turner. Eric Turner probably made $3 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Third down and 7.
Third down and 7. Tanner rolling left. Tanner throws across his body to the corner of the end zone. It's way out of reach, but more importantly, out of Rio Mesa's reach with 7:39 left. It's 4th down and 7, and Ventura can make it a 14-point game.
You know who I'm guessing? I'm guessing.
We're just talking football right now.
Oh, we're just talking football?
Right?
Well, I think Troy might have. Troy might have the record. Unless we're missing someone. Oh, Yelich. Yelich will have the all-sport record.
Yeah, of course.
Someone at home's probably screaming Yelich. That's probably how I thought of it.
But was Yelich, which side of the county line was he on?
He played at Westlake.
I know, but
I don't know where he grew up.
Right. I thought he grew up in the San Fernando Valley, Joe.
Yeah, that might be true.
That is complete. The Cougars go for it on 4th down, get a first down, and they can put this game away. 1st and goal, Ventura. A
4-minute
big call
mode.
here.
There it is.
And the Cougars go for it, understanding that Rio Mesa was going to need 2 touchdowns no matter what. And they end up going for it and converting. And with a score here, can put this game away and go to 1-0.
Jones on the coverage for Spartans.
Yeah, Gabe Kapler's K-Swiss contract. That'll be up there, too.
Right. Just over the outstretched hands of Ledesma, and it brings up a 2nd and goal.
Brings up 2nd and goal for the
Moore Park Baseball beats Pacifica 2-1. St. Bonaventure 7-6 over Bishop Diego at the half. I'm gonna refresh.
Probably a later start though, perhaps up at LaPlaya, maybe 7:30.
Yes, but it's still a 50-minute old update.
Okay. Maxwell carries down to the 2. And importantly for Ventura, the clock continues to run. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 2.
Simi 49-13 now. Throckmorton has 3 touchdown passes. Buena cuts into Pacifica's lead, 23-17. So that's a field goal.
That's one of those early season games that could be so important at the end of the campaign, right?
I mean, with this league, right? I mean, everybody's got a shot at this league except for maybe one team. So, every game is going to be important, including this one.
You know what the schedule reminds me of? Do you remember that, 10-team Marmani League?
Oh, it was like 1 or 2 years, right? And they had, the crazy thing about that was they had the last week where they all matched up.
Right.
Oh no, that was when there was 2 divisions.
There were 4 years of the 10-team Marmani League, and it was 1 year of 9 league games. Sorry, 2 years of 9 league games.
They all played each other.
And then it was 2 years of the
broke it up,
5 and 5, and that was just awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, once they went to divisions, it was when one played 2, they matched up across the divisions, and that was the year Moore Park finally beat Westlake on a last-second field goal, and you had that great. Was it Oaks Christian?
An Oaks Christian TO game, and Thousand Oaks was really a good team that year, and had a couple very strong seasons. Of course, in that TO team with Max Gillum that was so successful. 6:46 to go. 3rd down and 2. And here's Maxwell, up the middle, 23-6. A 3-score lead for the Cougars, extra point pending, and they've just about wrapped this thing up.
That'll do it. Bouncing back from the scrimmage last week against Newbury Park and winning its opener at home.
6:43 to go, a 23-6 advantage.
I just got a text from Charlie Weiss, and he was joking earlier this week that they were 1-0 because he was like, you know, if Carpenter can't play the game we scheduled, is that a forfeit? I'm going to call it. That's 1-0. So now 2-0 this week for the Flyers.
Right. 2 wins in 3 days. You know.
6:43 left in the ballgame.
Yeah, Joe. I mean that is a question. When you look at collegiate athletics programs, you look at professional teams, COVID testing is available and, you know, just a part of the budget. It doesn't work that way at this level, right? These are not inexpensive tests. What does testing look like in these programs?
Thank you.
So, you know, I think in the beginning, when water polo was just getting started, they would send the kids off to, you know, there's all these great community resources, so you can go down to the, you know, all the different testing places locally, and those have been working so well that you get it back in a couple days, and if you time everything up right, then you don't need to go out and get an independent test. There's a couple schools that would bring in an independent lab to do tests. One cool thing is the Oxnard Unified School District contracted a lab to set up testing on their own, basically in the football stadium at Pacifica and Rio Mesa and so in Channel Islands, and they oh boy.
And here is another potential mishap on a kickoff from Rio Mesa, but eventually it is recovered by the Spartans, and they'll take over at the 39. Not just special teams, Joe, but on the kickoff specifically.
Yeah. So that you know, all these schools have and you know, the crazy thing is they've had to figure this all out, kind of, you know, with the clock counting down, with only 2 weeks to play volleyball and in 3 weeks to play water polo, and you know, they needed to have these answers immediately and now, and you know, because you couldn't waste any more time, and they had to get the kids tested so they could have a 3-4 week season, and you know, a lot of these ADs have that's why they've been working these long hours to make all this work, and the administrations and you know, really they've done such a good job that, you know, every team in the county got tested that first week, and most of them are still getting tested, even though we're under the case right now where they don't officially need to get tested, but a lot of districts have kind of said in the you know, to keep our kids safe, we want to keep getting tested. So I mean, we're out here up in the stands with, you know, a couple hundred fans. We're going to be safer down doing pregame after the game with the kids who've been tested.
No question, Joe. Well said. Pass is complete up to the 45, and Rio needs points. You know, a couple of our viewers on YouTube chimed in and mentioned, you know, contract-wise, perhaps Terry Pendleton, but contracts just aren't the size.
That's a good one. It
is a good one. It's a really good one.
Certainly not the size of
modern contracts are just massive.
Yeah, that's a good one, Terry Pendleton.
Still on his feet inside the 20. I thought he stepped out of bounds, but in for the score this time, Joe. This time is Henry Borjas, we can confirm, and it is 24-12. So his brother Jonathan played such a big part during so many moments of the first half, and now the younger Borjas, Henry, on the board for Rio Mesa. It's 24-13 pending the extra point, I should say, 24-12. Still 5:41 left. I mean, it's doable.
It's going to take an onside probably.
Just for the record, Ventura has 1 timeout. Rio going for 2, and it's off the hands of the intended target. Rio does have 3 timeouts. Ventura has 1.
Intended for Maria. Makes the score, Cougars 24, Spartans 12.
Yeah, certainly
In the ballgame.
has the whiff of a consolation touchdown, but don't quite leave the stream yet, I think is kind of the best way to put it.
Well, I mean, you and I are
We're not going anywhere.
telling fireside chats over here, so I don't think anybody's leaving anytime
We're spinning
soon.
yarns. Who knows how old it'll be the next time you return from the Iberian Peninsula and do a game.
19 for the Cougars, number 18.
You know what one of the other just most amazing games we ever did was that St. Bonaventure Santa Margarita game.
Oh, down there?
Oh,
with
man.
the kid for Santa Margarita who's still playing the NFL?
River Craycraft.
Yeah.
And you know, you and I didn't do a lot of games together necessarily because, you know, being the tweeting, I don't even know how
I was
to
the road
describe
dog. I was the one that did the road playoff games, and that was a rare road playoff game that we did. One of the few.
And it was a quarterfinal game. It was the last game we did, and it was just one of those games that, I mean, you just leave after the game just exhilarated. And, I mean, what a contest between those
At the
two.
40-yard line.
Yeah, that was a great game. I think it was 2 years in a row that St. Bonaventure played Santa Margarita. One might have been a regular season game.
Right.
One of the great games Ricky Town ever played.
Ricky Town. One game I remember, and this was not a close playoff game that we did, that we were super surprised we were able to get the broadcast rights to. St. Bonaventure Long Beach Poly. And this guy comes out in warm-ups for Long Beach Poly, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I know who you're talking about.
Mainly he started at safety, and it was Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, and St. Bonaventure didn't do anything that day offensively.
It was 36-0, I think, something along those lines.
Yeah,
I mean, that... Just the players we've seen on the Game of the Week over the years. How many players have we seen over the last decade that are in the NFL at this point? I mean...
So we just named two of them.
You know, Darnay Holmes is 3, right? Yeah. Troy Hill's 4. I mean, there have to be 10 or 12, I would say, if not more.
Brought down by number 61, Zeros of the Spartans.
Second down and 8. Cougars using as much of the clock as they can.
This is Tanner.
Yep. Tanner stepping up in the pocket. He'll just run with it. Tanner to the 50, and he'll be run out of bounds. The clock will stop.
He's like, Ledesma's not the only one who can run around here.
Right.
Picks up the first down. Run out of bounds by number 5, Maria.
Well, there's RJ's brother again.
49-yard line, first down and 10.
Sal Maria with the tackle.
So it is a first down and 10 with the clock stopped. And the Cougars moving the ball as if they're ready to close this game out and go to 1-0.
Under 5 to play.
And I think you'll see a few consecutive runs here. This carry picks up about 3 yards.
Up the middle. Brought down by number 99, Anthony Martinez of the Spartans. Makes it second and 8.
This is one of the first times at the running back position we've seen Josilas Bowers.
It's one of the Cougars' top defensive players.
Tanner now actually rolling out to throw, and that's completed. Down to the 20-yard line.
Jordan Tanner's got a gun.
Yeah, he does. Curran Walker with the catch.
Curran Walker picks up the first down.
Nice throw by Jordan Tanner, and it's first and 10 inside the 20-yard line. 4:08 left, with the Cougars up by 12.
Yeah, Jordan Tanner's got something.
Yeah, he does.
Would have liked to have seen a full senior year from Jordan Tanner because...
The Cougars are saying the same.
Whew. Now we've got Ledesma back at quarterback.
Ledesma will keep.
Ball out? No.
I thought so too, Joe, but he hung on to it. No gain. That's just as good for Ventura as they'll chew up another half minute of clock. 3 timeouts left for Rio Mesa, just over 3 minutes remaining in a 24-12 game, and injured player on the field. I'm not sure if that's an official timeout or a Rio timeout. It looks like just an official timeout. No.
Second down and 10 for the Cougars.
Three minutes remaining. And now it is Jordan Tanner. He'll take the snap out of the shotgun from the 25-yard line. Sprints to his left. And he just tosses this one out of bounds.
Effortless.
Pass incomplete.
He's got a great arm. He's got good vision down the field. Starting to really see some chemistry with some of his receivers. Had nice blocking tonight too.
He's got athleticism. You know?
Yeah. This Ventura offense really has an opportunity to shine in the short season.
Keep Maxwell healthy.
Yep.
And you got some weapons.
And Maxwell is, he's on the sideline. He's walking around. It's not that he's out for an injury necessarily. It just changed pace, I think, late in this game.
Oh, you want to keep your lead dog healthy.
Tanner just slips down at the 25. Look at that.
Just turned an ankle, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Tanner down at the 25-yard line.
Rio's not stopping the clock here on 4th and 15.
Makes it 4th down.
You would think that they would with 3 timeouts left, but they have not done so.
Yeah, down. Well, no, it's 2 scores. Yeah, it's still doable.
Yeah, but you think you'd want to save those 30 seconds. Either way.
I think tonight we've realized that you value time over timeouts.
Yeah. No, other way. That I do.
Yeah.
I'm a time guy.
You value the time over the timeouts. And
hand out to Bowers. No gain.
All right, so 4th.
No, that was 4th. It's turnover on downs. Rio Mesa
Okay.
takes over. 1 minute 55 seconds left. They need 2 touchdowns. They have 3 timeouts. Anthony, I got to be honest. I'm freezing, man. I'm gonna clean this stuff up after the game. I'm going home. I'm cold. I'm really cold.
Well, it's not exactly the Park Well.
Wow. Really? Really?
How was my pronunciation there?
Parque Güell.
Okay, sorry.
Oh my goodness.
All right, well, what do you got, Rio Mesa?
Yeah, 1:55 to go. Just stretch the field. I mean,
There's all the
just
time.
give it a shot. Right?
Yeah, let's get this freshman loose down the near side here. See what you got.
And here's a sort of, I think for you and I, very anticlimactic short pass. I'm like, hey,
yeah, baby steps.
Send this thing down the field. Let's see what's happening.
Gonzalez pass incomplete.
Well, it worked last time where Ventura had no idea they were going down the field for their touchdown.
Right.
Intended for number 18, Henry Bolas. We got second down and 10.
All right, I'm going to try
for the Spartans.
You focus on the game. I'm going to try to get some scores.
I thought you were tweeting.
My laptop's not frozen.
Screen pass, incomplete. So not a great start to this, would-be do-or-die drive.
And Jennifer Jones.
Bishop Diego upset St. Bonaventure.
Wow.
13. Maybe it's not an upset, but
final score.
Just beat them at the end, 13-7. Pacifica wins. Another win for the Pacifica High football team. 23-14.
Joe, I just got to say, you got to go back on this YouTube stream if you can and see the commentary from Tony Vasquez, who's been a great friend for a long time. He has some hilarious comments.
You know what's pretty funny? If it wasn't for COVID, when we lost Contreras, I was going to ask Tony to join us.
Yeah.
Tony was on the short list.
A sack from behind.
Gonzalez brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
And of course, it's the aforementioned Bowers, who you said is a standout on this side of the ball. And with a minute and a half left, 4th down for Rio Mesa. And that's just about that, Joe.
Well, Danny, it wasn't exactly Royal Simi 2013.
No.
But we got to reminisce. We got to talk about the past a little bit. We got to set up what is an exciting,
be a great season.
5-week season where I know that you're going to be up in the middle of the night to log into.
Well, I'll be in Ventura County next weekend, but it's Pesach, Joe, on Friday. So, like Sandy Koufax not pitching in the World Series, I'll have to sit this out.
I gotcha. Ventura 7-2. That was Grace Brethren, the Ventura High baseball team was playing. Ventura beat Grace Brethren 7-2. Senior Taylor Rudy pitched 5 innings, giving up 4 hits.
Right, hence the red. It was Grace, not Rio Mesa.
Nordoff 48-0 over Santa Paula. That's a final. Royal beat Moore Park in 5 in girls volleyball.
Moore Park.
Bishop Diego scored with 1:22 left to win up at Santa Barbara.
Wow. And what was that final? Was it 14-13?
13-7. That was their only offensive score.
Right, because it was 7-6.
They scored on a pick 6 on their first touchdown.
Wow. Against Channel Islands.
Wait, it was Santa Clara that beat Lorraine in girls basketball 55-40. Oxnard beat Buena in girls volleyball in 5.
Stretching the field. Borjas has it in his hands and just can't come up with it. That kid has literally done everything tonight. But Ventura takes over on downs with 56 seconds left. They can probably just take a knee and call it a night.
Cougars take over on downs.
When is the Ventura Pacifica game? I should just pull out my schedule.
Yeah, check that out. Might be next week.
No, it's in 2 weeks on April the 3rd. I mean,
give us next week's matchup. Who's Ventura got next week?
Ventura's at Oxnard next week, then home to Pacifica on the 3rd, and then Channel Islands and Buena.
Ventura at Oxnard, second oldest rivalry in Ventura County.
Right. I think it actually is the oldest. They just haven't played as many times.
Big T, if you almost got the invite tonight, but I wasn't quite sure how we were going to handle this COVID situation. So we've been in masks. I don't know. I was at Oaks Christian last week, and none of the broadcast teams broadcasted in masks. How did we sound, Anthony, despite the fact that we're wearing masks, right? See? Just remember, next time you go to pull your mask down to yell at somebody and tell somebody something, you can leave your mask on. You don't have to pull it down to yell at people. We could broadcast the whole game in masks.
It was fine.
We were fine. My nose kind of hurts, but besides that.
Totally. It's your glasses. Well, one way or another, after a long wait, for the first time in 16 months, football in Ventura County is back. And Joe, I probably should say also that the Ventura Cougars are back. After watching their league rivals go to a state championship and win, Ventura surely looks to be co-favorites to win the Pacific View League this season. It's a sort of awkward goodbye between the two teams, as there will be no handshakes. The sides wave to one another. Goodbye for tonight, and we wave hello again to high school football season. It's been a treat, Mr. Curley, and I certainly want to try and join you guys whenever possible, once a season or something along those lines.
Well,
thanks for having me back in the booth, man.
You are always welcome. Ventura is always your home, and the Ventura County Star. You're always welcome here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
But we appreciate you guys for spending your Friday night with us. Football is back. Danny Page for 1 week was back.
You're right.
And the Pacific View League football looks awful interesting.
It's going to be interesting
this year.
Really
so
interesting.
Let's enjoy what we've got these next month or so, and we'll roll on for the rest of 2021.
Yep, big thanks to everybody here at Ventura High School. Big thanks to Anthony Placencia. It's great to see you, man. We did this together for a lot of years. And, of course, John Catalini at the mothership. Lauren, well, probably at home, right?
No, Lauren was at Royal Simi tonight.
Lauren Ledeen. No, I meant John is at home.
Oh, yeah. John's maybe in the office.
Right, maybe he is. Lauren Ledeen at Royal Simi, thanks to the entire Ventura County Star team. And, of course, my broadcast partner tonight, Joe Curley, for having me back in the booth. The Cougars, behind a opportunistic second quarter, surge to a 24-12 win. High school football is back, and the Ventura County Star will be with you the whole way through on the Ventura Orthopedics Game of the Week. My name is Danny Page. Good night, Ventura County.